stop for a moment and listen, because what I am about to tell you is not written in any book you've read, nor spoken in any church you've attended. There is a way to call money in such a way that it knows your name and only your name, not as a vague wish, not as a desperate plea, but as a spiritual claim so precise that the unseen must deliver it. Most people throw their desires into the air like loose papers in the wind, wondering why nothing ever lands in their hands. But there exists a divine secret, a way to mark your money in the invisible realm so that no one else can claim it. Once you understand this law, wealth will stop passing you by, because in the language of spirit, it will already belong to you. You have called for money before, you have prayed for it, worked for it, chased it, and yet, much of the time it has slipped through your fingers like water through a net. Why? Because you never marked it. You see, in the unseen, there is no confusion, unless you create it. Spirit does not deal in half-formed wishes, in passing thoughts, in I hope, and maybe someday. The law responds to a claim, a deliberate, unmistakable command that marks what you desire as belonging to you, and until you do this, your request floats in the invisible like an unaddressed letter. Money is not wandering the earth aimlessly. Every dollar already has an assignment. If you do not assign it to yourself, someone else will. The law is exact. It delivers to the clearest claimant. Just as a package at the post office will never reach you unless your name and address are written on it, the wealth you want will never arrive until you write your spiritual tag on it in the unseen. And here is where most fail. They think desire is enough, but desire without specificity is noise in the ether. I have seen many souls plead for more money, and when it came, it was only in small drips, a forgotten coin in a couch cushion, a few extra dollars on a paycheck. They had called, yes, but without a tag. Spirit answered their vagueness with vague results. You must begin to understand. The unseen is precise. The invisible laws of supply are as orderly as mathematics. Just as 2 + 2 will never equal 3, an untagged desire will never find its way to you. The law of spiritual tagging is the act of speaking your claim so clearly, so deliberately, that it is as if you have engraved your name upon the very energy of the money you seek. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine two farmers standing before a vast, fertile field. Both toss seeds into the soil. One farmer knows exactly where each seed is planted. He marks the rows, waters them, tends to them. The other farmer simply scatters seeds without care or record, forgetting where they fell. Now tell me, whose harvest will be gathered? The law of the soil is the same for both, but only one knew where to look, because he marked what was his. Money follows this same principle. The tag is your mental and spiritual signature. It is the command that says, "This is mine, prepared for me by divine right, and no one else can claim it." Without this, your money wanders. It might even come close to you, but if the vibration of your claim is not strong enough, it will be intercepted by someone whose tag is stronger. The unseen is not sentimental. It responds to authority. When you tag your money, you must see it. You must know its purpose. You must call it by name. Do not simply say, "I need money." Instead say, "The $10,000 prepared for me by divine order is now marked with my name. It knows where I am, and it is finding me now." This is not fantasy. It is alignment. The moment you speak it, you have placed your signature in the unseen, and the law begins moving it toward you. But understand this, your tag is not just words. Words are the brush, but belief is the ink. You cannot mark your money if you are secretly convinced it is too much, too far, or too late. The universe will only deliver what you truly claim, not what you timidly wish for. Many people speak powerful words, but mix them with the ink of doubt, and so the mark fades before the money arrives. This is why your tag must be renewed daily in your mind, until the manifestation stands before you, not with desperation, for desperation is the language of loss, but with certainty. A tagged package at the post office is not worried about whether it will arrive. It already bears the name, the address, the stamp. It is inevitable. And if, as you listen now, you feel your mind wandering or your faith dulling, take this moment as a refresher. Pull your focus back and remind yourself, if I do not tag it, I cannot claim it. Every coin, every bill, every opportunity I desire must be marked in the unseen, or it will remain unassigned. Let this truth stir you awake again. You may say, but what if someone else is also calling for the same money? Then know this, your tag is unique. Just as two people may share a name, but not the same fingerprint, the spiritual signature you place on your money cannot be duplicated. What is marked for you cannot be taken from you. The law will not confuse one claim with another. You are not competing in the physical marketplace for scraps. You are making a direct claim in the spiritual marketplace, where there is no shortage. There is enough for all, but only the tagged is delivered. Spirit is not moved by noise or numbers, only by the authority of a clear, unwavering claim. From this day forward, stop scattering your requests loosely into the ether. Tag them, speak them, see them, hold them in your mind until they have taken on the form of reality so clearly that the physical must obey the invisible. The law is impartial. It will deliver whatever is tagged. And here is the mystery you must remember. Once tagged, money will begin to move toward you in ways you cannot predict. Opportunities will rise, people will appear, paths will open. Do not doubt because you cannot see the route. The route is not your job. Your only work is to mark your claim and keep it marked until delivery. There is a moment, a divine split second, when the mind is most open to spiritual imprinting. Most people rush through their days unaware of it, never realizing they have missed their richest opportunity to mark their money in the unseen. The law of spiritual tagging does not require long hours of chanting or complex rituals. It requires timing, precision, and faith that moves without hesitation. The exact moment to tag your money is when the seed of desire first rises in your mind, before doubt has time to wrap itself around it, before reason begins its weary questioning, before you begin measuring your worthiness against the sum you seek. That first spark of desire is pure. It is the voice of spirit whispering, "This is already yours." And if you are quick, you can seal that moment with your tag, before the world's noise drowns it out. You see, desire is not something you manufacture. It is a telegram from the infinite. It arrives carrying the stamp of possibility and the mark of divine intention. But it is fragile in its first breath. Like a candle just lit, it can be snuffed out with the faintest breeze of fear. That is why, the very instant the idea comes, I will have this sum, I will enjoy this opportunity, I will live in this provision, you must act. You must put your spiritual signature on it immediately. Let me tell you something. The enemy of manifestation is not lack of work, it is delay. Delay is the thief of the spiritual marketplace. The moment you hesitate, that untagged claim drifts into the field of others who are faster to claim, not because they are more deserving, but because they obeyed the law without hesitation. The unseen does not deal in pity, it deals in certainty. I once observed a woman who understood this law instinctively. She was not wealthy in the worldly sense, yet every time she saw something she desired, a sum of money, a gift, a property, she would stop, close her eyes for a brief moment, and whisper, "I mark it mine by divine right, and nothing can keep it from me." She did this instantly, before her mind could talk her out of it, and time after time, those very things found their way to her, often in unexpected ways. She had mastered the timing. This is where you must train yourself. The world has taught you to think about it, to be realistic, to weigh your options. But in the unseen, the law works opposite to the way the world trains you. Spirit moves on boldness, not on cautious debate. The moment you receive the impulse, you must act, not in the physical first, but in the spiritual. Speak it, see it, seal it. That is your tag. Now let us speak plainly. If you tag your money when your spirit is flat, when you are filled with worry, or when your mind is scattered, the mark will be faint. Just as ink needs paper that will absorb it, your words need a mind that is receptive. This is why another perfect moment to tag your money is upon waking, before the day's dust has settled on your consciousness. The mind is open then, not yet cluttered with yesterday's disappointments or today's demands. I often tell my students, your first conversation each morning should not be with the world, it should be with the infinite. In that first quiet moment, when the bridge between the seen and unseen is still intact from sleep, your tags carry extraordinary power. Speak them aloud. See the money as already yours. Call it by name, by amount, by purpose. You are engraving it in the invisible vault, and the law will not forget. And what of those times when you are struck suddenly by need, when an unexpected expense appears, or an opportunity requires quick provision? Do not speak in panic. That is when you must remember this law most. Still yourself. Remember, the unseen is never in emergency. It is always in abundance, and from that stillness tag your money with authority. This is my provision by divine appointment. I call it in now, and it cannot be delayed or denied. The power is not in the desperation. It is in the unshakable certainty that the law is already moving. Let me give you an example. A man I knew once needed a large sum for a business opportunity. He had hours, not weeks. Instead of running from person to person asking for help, he went into a quiet room, stilled his mind, and tagged the exact amount in the unseen. "It is mine by right of divine supply," he said. "It knows where I am. It is already on its way." Within that very afternoon, an old client called unexpectedly with a payment he had long forgotten was owed to him, the exact amount, to the penny. The timing was not coincidence, it was law in motion. Now I will give you this warning, so you will not fall into the trap that catches many. Once you have tagged your money, do not keep scratching at it to see if it is growing. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check. He trusts the soil. The moment you tag your money, release it into the law, and go about your work with confidence. Obsessive checking is a form of doubt, and doubt will smudge your mark. Your work is to tag with clarity, believe without shaking, and keep your spirit tuned to receive. For sometimes the money will come through channels you have never considered. If you demand it come only one way, you may miss its arrival. Keep your tag clear, but keep the route open. And if at any time you feel your faith fading, refresh your tag. This is not repeating in desperation. This is strengthening the ink of your spiritual signature. In the same way, a legal signature can be notarized to hold even greater authority. Your tag can be renewed with deliberate attention. Whisper it again, see it again, and know that it is done. The law rewards the one who moves quickly in the spirit. It answers to precision, not to wandering thoughts. The exact moment to tag your money is the moment you hear the inner call of desire, the holy whisper that says, "This belongs to you." Act then, and act fully. Do not delay. Do not ask if it is possible. The possibility was born in the same instant as the desire. Your only work is to claim it in the unseen and stand until it is delivered in the seen. When you tag your money in the unseen, you are not just speaking into empty air. You are writing a legal decree in the court of spirit. And in that court, language matters. The law of the unseen does not respond to vague hopes or emotional outbursts. It responds to clear, precise, faith-filled commands. You must speak as one who has already been granted authority, not as one begging to be heard. The words you use are not a performance, they are a signature. And just as a legal signature must match exactly every time to carry weight, the language of your tag must be consistent. If you call your money one thing today and something else tomorrow, the unseen will see the discrepancy. It will wait for you to decide what you are truly calling in. So here is the first secret. Call your money by its exact nature and amount. Do not simply say, "I want money." That is as ineffective as addressing a letter to someone somewhere. The spiritual postmaster cannot deliver what is undefined. Instead, you might say, "I mark as mine the sum of $50,000 for the purchase of my home, by divine right, in perfect timing and in perfect ways." This is not a request. It is a precise claim, already in the ledger of supply. The second secret is to speak in the present tense, as if the delivery is already in motion. The unseen is timeless. It does not operate in someday. When you speak in the future tense, "I will have" or "I'm going to get," you push your supply away from the present moment. You are forever chasing it into tomorrow. Speak instead as one who is already in possession. "I have received, it is mine now. It is here for me." The third secret is to add the seal of divine right. The phrase "by divine right" is not mere poetry. It is your legal clause in the unseen. It tells the law that you are claiming only what is truly yours, what will harm no one, what belongs to you in the harmony of universal order. When you add this seal, you close the door to wrongful gain or crooked channels. You are telling the law, "Bring this to me in such a way that it blesses all and disturbs none." Now I will tell you a story to show you why language matters. A young woman once came to me saying she had been affirming for more money for months, but nothing had happened. I asked her exactly what she had been saying. She replied, "I keep saying, 'I want more money.'" I told her, "My dear, the law has been answering you all along. Every time you find a penny on the street, every time a small coin slips into your hand, that is more money. You did not specify. You left the law to its smallest interpretation." Once she began to call her money by amount, purpose, and divine right, her manifestations began to match her desire. Your words must also carry the tone of ownership. Imagine you are the rightful heir to an estate, and you have walked into the court to claim what is already in your name. You would not beg. You would stand in confidence, present your papers and say, "This belongs to me." In the same way, When you tag your money, your voice must carry that inner knowing. The fourth secret is emotional alignment. The unseen reads vibration, not just syllables. If your mouth says, "It is mine now," but your heart is trembling with doubt, your tag will be faint. This is why you must take a moment to feel the joy, relief, or gratitude as if it has already happened. Let your body, mind, and spirit align. When they do, your words will carry weight in the invisible. If you are tagging money for a specific purpose, perhaps for a debt to be cleared, or for a business expansion, include the purpose in your decree. This gives your money a destination. Money without a marked destination can wander. Money with a clear spiritual address will travel directly to you. For example, say, "I mark as mine the sum of $10,000 by divine right for the full payment of my business equipment. It comes to me in perfect timing and perfect ways, and I give thanks it is done." Every phrase here has a function. The amount calls the specific package. By divine right seals it lawfully. The purpose directs its delivery. Perfect timing and perfect ways ensures harmony in arrival, and gratitude stamps it with faith. And let me give you this final safeguard. Never tag your money with fear-based language. Do not say, "I need this or else I will lose everything." The unseen does not operate under threat. It operates under law. When you lace your tag with fear, you send mixed signals, half faith, half panic, and the delivery will be delayed until the vibration is pure. Instead, tag it with the tone of expectation. Expectation is faith leaning forward. Expectation is the mother at the train station, knowing her child will step off the next carriage. She does not say, "If he comes," she says, "When he comes." That is the voice of a true tagger in the spirit. I tell you this, when you master the language of your tag, you will feel the shift the very moment you speak it. It will feel like a key turning in a lock you could not see. And once the lock is turned, the delivery is inevitable. When you have tagged your money in the unseen, do not think the work is done merely because the words have been spoken. A gardener does not plant a seed and then leave it unguarded, open to every wandering foot or careless hand. A claim in spirit must be kept safe from interference, because the moment you release a decree into the invisible, other forces, both within and without, will test its strength. The first enemy is your own wandering mind. You may tag your money in the morning, but if by afternoon you are saying, "It's not coming, maybe I asked for too much, maybe I should change it," you have tampered with your own delivery. In the unseen, this is like changing the address on a package after it has already been shipped. The law will pause, waiting for you to decide where it truly belongs. The only safe course is to hold steady. When the thought of doubt comes, and it will, say within yourself, "No, it is tagged. It is mine. The law is delivering it now." The second enemy is the careless conversation of others. Many lose their manifestation because they feel compelled to share it too soon with those who do not understand spiritual law. You speak of your tagged money, and someone laughs, scoffs, or tells you a story of failure. If you are not alert, their words can slip into your subconscious like a weed seed into a fertile field. This is why I often say, do not speak of your good until it is made manifest. Guard your decree like a treasure until it stands in your hand for all to see. And yet, there is a deeper law here. No one can take your good from you unless you give them permission through agreement. Agreement is not always verbal. It can be silent acceptance. If someone says, "That's impossible," and you do not immediately reject it in your mind, you have allowed a crack in your fence. So keep a ready phrase at hand, even if only in your thought, such as, "That may be true for them, but it is not true for me. My supply is secure by divine right." This silent rebuttal keeps your tag protected. Now, let me tell you a truth that will refresh you as you hear it. No outside force has greater authority over your good than you do. I repeat this because many people give away their power without knowing it. The law responds to your dominant decree, not to the doubts of others. Even if 100 voices say you cannot have it, if your voice says you can, and you keep saying so with faith, the 100 will be silenced by the one. The third enemy is impatience. Spirit's timing is perfect, but it is not always your timing. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each morning to check whether it has sprouted. You water it, you tend the soil, and you trust the unseen processes at work beneath the surface. Your tagged money works the same way. If you tug at the roots by worrying, complaining, or trying to force the channel, you interfere with the perfect unfolding. The law is precise. The right amount, the right way, the right time. Hold to that, and your delivery will not only arrive, but will arrive without loss or strain. You must also guard your tag from inner contradiction. If in one breath you affirm, "My wealth is secure," and in the next you say, "I can't afford this," you are sending two opposing orders to the same law. The law cannot deliver both lack and abundance at once, so it will wait, sometimes indefinitely, for you to choose. Choose once, and choose well. And if the words of lack slip out by habit, quickly correct yourself, not in shame but in authority. No, that is not true. I am provided for. My supply is here now. Remember also that the unseen works through channels, people, opportunities, unexpected ideas. Guarding your tag means keeping your spiritual eyes open so you recognize the arrival when it comes. If you expect your money only in one form, you may overlook the very channel Spirit has prepared. You may have tagged a sum for your business, and it arrives not as a check in the mail, but as a new client who pays in full, or as a debt unexpectedly forgiven. Accept the arrival, in whatever form fulfills your decree in divine right order. Now, here is a safeguard I urge you to practice daily. When you rise in the morning, and when you retire at night, reaffirm your tag, not in fear, but in confidence. Let it be the bookends of your day. You may say, "My supply is marked and sealed in the unseen. It is moving toward me now, in perfect timing and perfect ways. Nothing and no one can keep it from me." This daily sealing keeps the vibration pure and the claim active, and do not forget gratitude as your shield. Gratitude says to the law, "I have received even before the evidence is visible." It closes the door to doubt, because the mind cannot be in fear and gratitude at the same time. When you feel gratitude in advance, you match the vibration of the fulfilled decree, and in that match, nothing contrary can enter. So guard your tag as you would guard a royal seal. It is not fragile. The law is too strong for that, but your attention to it keeps it in the front of your consciousness, where no stray weed of fear can take root. And when the day comes, as it surely will, that the thing you tagged in the unseen stands in your visible hand, you will know that your guarding was not in vain. When you have tagged your money in the unseen and guarded it faithfully, you must also understand a subtle truth. You are never to chain the law to one channel. The money you have marked as yours may come through any path the infinite chooses. Your decree determines the destination. Spirit determines the route. Many lose their good because they demand that it must arrive in one particular way. They say it must come through my salary, or it will arrive when this person repays me, or it will be through this investment. And when that channel delays or fails, they believe their good has been denied. But the law of supply is not bound to any one person, job, business, or plan. If one channel closes, the law will simply open another, provided you do not shut the door with your insistence. Think of the postman. You may be waiting for a package, but you do not dictate the exact streets he must take to deliver it. If one road is blocked, he will find another. It would be foolish to stand at only one corner and say, "If he does not come down this street, my package will not arrive." Spirit has countless streets, countless messengers, countless ways to deliver your tagged money. When you release the channel, you free the law to work at top speed, unhindered by your limited vision. This is why I tell you, name your desire. Tag it clearly in the unseen, but let go of the how. The how belongs to God. Your part is to know the what's and the why. The what is your decree, the amount, the form, the purpose. The why is your faith that it is yours by divine right. But the how is the mystery of Spirit's perfect wisdom. You must also remember that a channel is not your source. A channel is only the means the source uses in a particular moment. If you mistake the channel for the source, you begin to cling, and clinging creates fear. For if the channel is removed, you will feel your supply is gone. But when you know your source is God, and God is infinite, you can release any channel without loss, knowing another will appear at once. Releasing the channel does not mean you stop acting in the visible. You may still work, invest, create, or sell, but you do so with the awareness that these are only instruments in Spirit's hands. They are not the origin of your wealth. They are merely expressions of it. This frees you from the desperation that makes so many chase after one opportunity, as if it were the only lifeboat. In truth, the ocean of supply has no limit to its ships. Now here is where many stumble. They confuse releasing the channel with releasing the claim. When a visible path closes, they sigh and say, "It's not meant to be," and drop the decree entirely. But the closing of a channel does not cancel your tag. The law still holds it in the unseen, waiting to send it through another route. If you release the claim, you are like the one who cancels their order before the new delivery truck arrives. Keep the claim alive, even if every door you can see seems shut. Spirit has doors you know nothing about. Let me refresh you with a truth you must carry in your heart. The unseen is never limited to the seen. The channels you know are a handful. The channels Spirit knows are beyond counting. What you see is not all that is, and very often the channel you release is replaced by one far greater, more fitting, more abundant than you imagined. There is also a wisdom in not naming the person who must be involved. If you say this money will come from Mr. Smith, you bind the law to a human will, and human wills can resist. But if you say this money comes through the perfect channel, you leave Spirit free to choose one who is ready, willing, and able to deliver without obstruction. You avoid the delays that come when your good must travel through unwilling hands. Releasing the channel also frees you from disappointment. If you hold too tightly to one way, and it fails, you may lose your faith. But if you hold only to the claim and let the channel be free, you cannot be shaken. You say to yourself, if not this way, then a better way. That thought alone keeps your vibration in alignment with the law. And when the delivery comes, often it will be so unexpected, so perfectly timed, that you will marvel at how Spirit arranged it. You will see that what you thought was a delay was simply a redirection toward something higher. You will realize that the law was not slow, it was precise. So keep your hand open. Hold the claim with a grip of faith, but let the how slip through your fingers like water. Trust that the law knows not only the fastest route but also the one that will bless you most fully. And as you walk in this trust, you will discover a freedom you did not know before, the freedom of being certain in your good without being anxious about the path it will take. When you have tagged your good, when you have released the channel yet held the claim, the final act is to receive it in the Spirit before it is ever placed in your hand. This is the inner acceptance that seals the law. Without it, your decree floats, waiting for a place to land. With it, the law is anchored, and the manifestation is inevitable. Most people wait to feel the joy until they see the money in the bank, the envelope in the mail, the check in their palm, but the law works in reverse. The joy must come first. Spirit is a mirror. It reflects your inner state. If you stand in lack, waiting for evidence, you will keep waiting, for the law can only echo the vibration you send. But if you stand in completion, giving thanks for what you have already received in the unseen, the law will hasten to make the seen match the unseen. Receiving in the Spirit means you take full possession of your desire, in thought, in feeling, in speech. Before it is visible, you rise in the morning and bless the money as though it were already in your account. You speak to it as though it had arrived. You picture yourself living with it, using it for its divine purpose, and you speak with the gratitude of one who already has it. The invisible world hears you, and the visible world must obey. You may say, but how can I feel joy for something I do not yet have? You do have it, in the realm where all creation begins. Every idea, every fortune, every opportunity first exists in the unseen, and the unseen is the womb of reality. When you claim it there, it is as real as a seed in the ground. You may not yet see the plant, but the life is already growing. The wise gardener does not doubt the seed, because it is beneath the soil. He waters it, protects it, and expects it to break through. This is why I tell you, you must not wait to be happy. Happiness is the signal to the law that you have received. If you wait, the law will wait with you. If you rejoice now, the law will deliver now. Do not think of it as pretending. Think of it as aligning. Pretending feels hollow because you are aware it is false. Aligning feels solid because you know it is true in the higher realm. Some will say, I cannot thank for what I do not see. Yet they will thank a friend for a promise they have made. If a trusted friend said, I have bought you a gift, it is on its way, you would thank them at once without having touched it. And if you trust Spirit more than man, you will thank at once for what the law has promised through your decree. There is a subtle danger in waiting for the physical arrival to shift your feeling. For while you wait, you are often sowing doubt. Each day that passes without the visible proof can turn into a whisper that says, perhaps it will not come. And those whispers are weeds in the soil of your manifestation. Receiving in the Spirit uproots those weeds before they grow. When the feeling of I already have it is strong in you, time cannot shake it. It is also important to keep the inner image fresh. If the vision begins to fade, paint it again in your mind with clear strokes. See the exact numbers. Feel the texture of the bills. Hear the sound of the deposit notification. Smell the ink on the check. The more senses you involve, the more solid the reality becomes in the unseen, and the sooner it must cross into the seen. Let me remind you, there is no distance in spirit. What you have claimed exists immediately. Only the physical arrangement of delivery takes time, and even that time is shortened when your acceptance is total. Spirit does not need to be convinced. It is you who must be convinced. This is why I say, act as though you have already received. Spend in thought what you will spend in fact. Give in thought what you will give in fact. Speak as though the money is present, not coming, and do so without strain or forcing. Do it with the ease of one who knows the matter is settled. If doubt tries to enter, replace it at once with a word of power. You might say, "It is mine now by divine right," or "I have already received in the Spirit, and the outer must follow." These are not mere affirmations. They are legal declarations in the court of the unseen, and the law must uphold them. When you receive in the Spirit, you also quiet the restless mind. You stop checking for signs every moment, because you are already satisfied, and satisfaction is a magnet for completion. The restless seeker pushes the good away. The satisfied receiver draws it near. I tell you truly, if you make this your way, you will begin to notice something wonderful. The time between your decree and your manifestation will shorten. You will find that the law moves swiftly for the one who lives as though they already have, and as you practice, you will reach the point where the inner and the outer align so closely that your good appears with almost no gap at all. So in all your workings with the law of spiritual tagging, remember this final truth: the unseen is the real birthplace of your good. When you take it there, when you accept it there, when you rejoice there, the outer world has no choice but to match the inner, and when it does, you will simply nod and smile, for you will have been living with it all along. You have now been shown the whole pathway of this law, from the moment you name your desire with precision, to the sacred act of tagging it in the Spirit as yours, to releasing the channel without releasing the claim, to guarding the soil of your mind from weeds, to speaking only words that affirm your possession, to receiving in the unseen before it touches your hand. These are not scattered teachings. They are one continuous golden thread of divine law. You have learned that the invisible world is the true marketplace, and you are free to step into it at any moment. You have learned that nothing is random. Not your words, not your thoughts, not the images you entertain. You have learned that the law does not choose for you. It simply grows what you plant. And you have learned that the moment you take ownership in spirit, the outer world is set in motion to deliver it. So I say to you now, begin today. Do not wait for the right mood, the right sign, or the right time. The time is now. The sign is your hearing these words. The mood will come as you obey the law. Tag your good in the unseen and call it by name. Hold it with the quiet certainty of one who knows the case is settled. And then, live as though you are already in possession, because in truth you are. Speak it, see it, bless it, thank it, and watch as the outer mirrors the inner with a swiftness that will astonish you. This is not my promise. It is the promise of the law, written into the fabric of the universe, waiting for you to claim it. Now go and put this law into action. Let this not be a teaching you admire, but a truth you live. The world is waiting to match the power of your decree. Call your money by name, and it will find you. And when it does, you will not be surprised. You will simply say, "Of course, I had it all along." It is not by chance, nor by might, that these words came into my life, but through spoken law. It was by divine law, the unseen but unbreakable power of thought and word made manifest. There was a time when I wandered in lack, believing that struggle was noble and scarcity was real. But the moment I understood that my word was my wand, that I could speak riches into being as surely as I had spoken limitation, the tides began to turn. I did not strive, I declared. The world, through spoken law, full of noise and doubt, told me to hustle, to chase, to break myself against the grindstone of ambition, through spoken law. But I turned instead to the invisible supply, the storehouse of substance waiting on the vibration of my voice. I learned that the spoken word, rooted in faith, is more powerful than any strategy, more enduring than any scheme. Every morning I would speak the words, not in fear, not in haste, but in knowing. I said, "There is nothing to fear. There is only God, and God is abundance." I said, "All that is mine by divine now comes to me in perfect ways under grace." And I believed it, even when the evidence was invisible, especially when it was. I understood the law that what I feel, what I affirm, becomes my experience. That wealth is not something to be earned, but through spoken law but recognized. These words were not just affirmations, they were decrees. Each syllable a hammer striking the forge of the unseen, but through spoken law, shaping gold from the ether. People asked me how I did it. They wanted to know the trick, the tactic, the business model. But through spoken law, I smiled. For it was simpler and more profound than they could imagine. I simply aligned my speech with truth, and truth delivered what was mine. Let no one tell your words are idle. The subconscious mind does not joke. Every word is a seed, but through spoken law, and every seed bears fruit, whether you will it or not. I began to watch my mouth as carefully as a banker watches his vault. I spoke only of prosperity, of overflow, of divine compensation. I did not say, "Want," I said, "I have." I did not say, "I hope," I said, "I know." And so the universe, obedient and exact, through spoken law, arranged itself accordingly. Your word is your wand. Speak with intention. This truth is simple, yet it holds infinite power. The universe is not moved by wishful thinking, nor does it respond to empty repetition. It listens, attentively and without error. But through spoken law, to the quality of your word, to the vibration of your speech, the belief behind your phrases, and the certainty with which you declare your reality. Your word is not casuative. It is the mold from which your experience is cast. To speak without intention is to live without direction. To speak with power, clarity, and purpose is to step into your rightful place as the designer of your destiny. Every word we speak is a command sent into the invisible realm. This invisible realm is not fantasy. It is the very substance from which visible things emerge. What you cannot yet see is far more real than what you can see, because the seen is temporary, through spoken law, while the unseen is eternal. When you speak, you are not merely describing your world. You are scripting it, but through spoken law. Most people do not realize that their current circumstances are echoes of their past declarations. The words they spoke in fear, frustration, but through spoken law, or carelessness have silently taken root and blossomed into outcomes they do not recognize as their own creations. Spoken law. To speak with intention is to understand that your word is law in your world. It carries authority. It carries momentum. But through spoken law, it carries a charge that moves into form the moment it is uttered with belief. Speaking with intention means you no longer say things to fill silence. You do not speak out of habit or in reaction. You speak as one who knows that your words are spells, and you are always casting them, whether you know it or not. A person who speaks with intention does not say, through spoken law, "I can't afford it," because they know that to say so is to affirm lack. Instead, they say, "It is not yet in my current plan," through spoken law, but it will come when needed. A person who speaks with intention does not say, "I always get sick," or "nothing ever works out for me," because they know these words plant seeds of repeated misfortune. Instead, but through spoken law, they affirm health, success, and ease, even in the face of contrary appearances. They speak what they wish to live, not what they fear to repeat. The one who uses the word with care knows that language is not just communication. It is creation. The universe, like a servant without opinion, receives every word and reflects it without distortion. If you say, "I never win," the universe says, "As you wish." If you say, "Everything works out for me," it echoes, "So it shall be." It is not personal. It is law. And law does not waver. This is why idle words are dangerous. Casual complaints, sarcastic self-deprecation, expressions of doubt. They all register. The subconscious does not understand irony or exaggeration. It only receives and obeys. A phrase spoken repeatedly, even in jest, becomes a belief. And belief becomes form. That is why those who master life first master their tongue. They do not allow their word to wander aimlessly. They harness it. They discipline it. They direct it like a stream toward fertile ground. It takes awareness to speak with intention. It means pausing before responding. Spoken law. It means refusing to repeat the old story just to connect with others in their drama. It means being willing to sound different, to be misunderstood, to stand alone in truth. But the reward is great. Your life begins to align with your highest good. You speak your path into being, and through spoken law, and it opens before you. Speaking with intention does not mean forcing or begging. It means choosing words that are in harmony with the life you desire. It means affirming what is true in spirit, even if it has not yet appeared in form. You speak not to describe the condition, but to declare the truth behind it. When the world says, "This is impossible," you say, "With the divine," but through spoken law, all things are possible. Your mind says, "You're not ready," you say, "All that I need is within me now." When the facts say, "You have failed," you say, "Every step is progress. I cannot fail." This is not denial. It is divine alignment. You are not ignoring reality. You are choosing which reality to energize. Every word carries energy. You must ask, does this word drain me or build me? Does it reflect fear or faith? Through spoken law, does it limit or expand my experience? The answers will show you whether you are using your wand to build your kingdom or curse your own garden. To speak with intention is to become intimate with silence. You speak less, but you say more. You no longer waste your words on gossip, complaint. You, through spoken law or opinion, you recognize that every word is a seed, and you will only speak that which you are willing to see grow. If you do not want more of it, you do not speak it. If you do not believe in it, you do not give it power by naming it. This kind of speech is magnetic. It draws to you the people, resources, and conditions that match your vibration. You no longer chase success, you speak it. You no longer beg for love, you affirm it. But through spoken law, you do not ask life for permission, you command it with grace. Your word goes before you and prepares the way. You, through spoken law, you begin to understand that even when others around you speak in fear, you do not have to join them. Their reality is not yours unless you claim it. You become a guardian of your speech. You bless instead of criticize. You affirm instead of deny. You speak life over your finances, your body, your relationships. You speak harmony into your home, clarity into your decisions, peace into your day. And every time you do, something unseen shifts. The invisible begins to crystallize. Opportunities come where there were walls. Ideas flow where there was confusion. Healing begins where there was pain, but through spoken law. Because you have returned to your original power, the power of the word that was in the beginning, the word that creates worlds, the word that cannot return void. A froken lerm, abundance, not lack. This single principle has the power to transform a life from struggle to flow, from confusion to clarity, but through spoken law, from just enough to more than enough. Most people speak of what they do not have, what is missing, but through spoken law, what they fear might be taken from them, and then wonder why their lives mirror those very things. The universe, which operates by law, not chance, delivers not what we wish for, but what we consistently affirm with emotion and conviction. If we affirm lack, we experience lack. If we affirm abundance, we begin to live it. Abundance is not only about money. It is a state of mind, a spiritual condition, but through spoken law, a deep inner knowing that there is always more ideas, more opportunities, more time, more health, more peace, more love. Spoken law. To affirm abundance is to anchor yourself in this truth. It means you choose to recognize the infinite source behind all visible supply. You no longer look to people, jobs, or systems as your provider. You see them only as channels, while the true source is divine, invisible, and unlimited. When people affirm lack, they are usually unaware. Through spoken law, they say things like, "I can't afford that, money is tight, there's never enough time," or "I'll never get ahead." These words, spoken repeatedly and believed emotionally, become instructions to the subconscious mind. The subconscious, which governs most of our experience, does not argue or analyze. It accepts whatever is consistently spoken or imagined and seeks to express it. So if you affirm limitation, and through spoken law, your mind and circumstances organize themselves to match that belief. Affirming abundance begins with awareness, but through spoken law, you begin to notice the words you use when you talk about money, time, energy, or support. You ask yourself, am I affirming lack? Or am I affirming overflow? When you say, "I never have enough," you pause and revise it. "I always have more than I need." When you think, "This is too expensive," you say instead, "If this is for me," but through spoken law, it will come to me in divine order. You replace every phrase of limitation with a statement of truth, not because you're pretending, but through spoken law, but because you are choosing to align with a higher reality. The truth is that abundance is natural. Look at nature. It does not hoard or withhold. Trees produce countless leaves, flowers bloom in clusters, oceans overflow with life, and stars fill the night sky beyond number. There is no shortage in the divine plan. The only shortage exists in the human mind, and only when we believe in separation. Separation from source, separation from good, separation from others. But once you return to the awareness of oneness, that you and divine substance are not separate, you begin to affirm abundance as your natural state, through spoken law. Affirming abundance does not mean denying current challenges. It means choosing a new point of focus. Instead of saying, "I'm broke," you say, "I am in the process of attracting new channels of income." Instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," you say, but through spoken law, "I am supported and everything is unfolding in perfect time." You begin to speak not of what is missing, but of what is possible. You begin to feed the solution, not the problem. This shift in language opens doors. Ideas come, resources appear, people offer help. You find yourself guided step by step, not through force, but through alignment. The mind will resist at first. It will say, "But look at the bills." But through spoken law, "Look at your bank account. This is just wishful thinking." But you must persist. You must remember that what is seen is temporary, through spoken law, but what is unseen is eternal. The visible is just a reflection of past thinking. The invisible is where change begins. So you affirm abundance not because it is already visible, but because it is already true. You affirm until it becomes visible. You speak it into form, but through spoken law. Many people believe that if they just get more money, they'll feel abundant. But it is the other way around. You must first feel abundant, but through spoken law, and then money, or whatever form of supply you need, flows to match that feeling. This is the secreting. Emotion is the magnet. Words backed by faith create. Words backed by doubt dissipate. When you affirm abundance, do it with feeling. Not desperation, but quiet confidence. Not begging, but declaring. You say, "I am richly blessed in every way," and you feel it. You say, "Money comes to me easily and frequently," and you expect it. You say, "I live in an abundant universe," and you act like it. This requires trust. Through spoken law, trust in a higher law. Trust that you are not forgotten. Trust that there is more than enough for you and for everyone else through spoken law. Some people fear that affirming abundance is greedy or selfish. But true abundance thinking is never about taking from others through spoken law. It is about knowing that there is no competition in the realm of spirit. No one else can block your good. Your success does not diminish anyone else's. In fact, it adds to the collective evidence of what is possible. When you affirm abundance, but through spoken law, you give others permission to do the same. You lift the standard of what is acceptable and invite others to rise with you. Affirming abundance also means releasing old stories. Stories of struggle, of lack, of, "That's just how it's always been." These stories feel familiar, but they are not fixed. They are optional. You can choose to tell a new story. one where things work out, where doors open, where you are always supported. This new story becomes your script through spoken law. You recite it daily. You affirm it when you walk, when you wait. You write it down. You speak it aloud. Spoken law. You live as though it is already so, and soon it is. Gratitude amplifies abundance. When you give thanks for what you have, even if it seems small, you tell the universe, I am ready for more. You shift your focus from what is missing to what is present, and what you focus on expands. So you say, thank you for this meal, and better meals come. You say, thank you for this opportunity, and more arrive. You say, through spoken law, thank you for the money I do have, and the flow increases. Gratitude affirms abundance without effort. It is a quiet, powerful way to speak abundance into being. There is no special time or condition required to begin affirming abundance through spoken law. You do not have to wait until things improve. You begin right where you are. You speak it when the bank account is low. You affirm it when the schedule is full. You declare it when you feel uncertain. This is when it matters most. Through spoken law, to affirm abundance in the face of lack is the highest form of faith. It is the turning point. It is the moment when your reality begins to shift from the inside out. You are not required to fix everything at once, but through spoken law, you are only required to change the frequency of your word, one thought at a time, one phrase at a time, one belief at a time. You start by noticing what you say about money, time, health, relationships, and opportunity. You ask yourself, am I affirming overflow or limitation? Am I speaking the language of the kingdom or the language of fear? And then you choose again. You speak life. You speak increase. You speak possibility through spoken law. You speak as one who knows that the power to create wealth, joy, and peace has been within you all along, waiting only for the command. Feel it, affirm it, and it becomes reality. This is not a metaphor, not a poetic ideal. It is law. The law of mind, the law of vibration, the law of manifestation. Everything begins in the unseen. Every visible thing was first invisible. Every condition that appears in your world was once just a vibration, an emotion, through spoken law, a thought. And the moment you combine clear affirmation with true feeling, you set creation in motion. It is not enough to speak empty words. The words spoken law, the words must be alive. They must be charged with belief, saturated with emotion, carried on the current of inner knowing. That is when your words leave the realm of noise and become commands to the universe. You can say, I am wealthy, 1,000 times, but through spoken law. But if you feel anxious, unworthy, or doubtful as you say it, you are not planting a seed of wealth. You are reinforcing the feeling of lack through spoken law. The subconscious mind listens not to the words alone, but to the feeling behind the words. It is feeling that impresses the idea, but through spoken law. It is feeling that seals the instruction. That is why two people can say the same affirmation, but one experiences transformation and the other does not. The one who feels it receives it. The one who recites without faith sees no change. The heart must be involved. The process is simple, through spoken law, but it requires presence. You choose an affirmation that aligns with your desired reality, not a wish or a fantasy, but a truth you are claiming. Then you say it not as a beggar hoping to be heard, but as a creator commanding the invisible. You say it slowly, deliberately, with full attention, but through spoken law. You allow yourself to feel the words as if they were already true. You imagine the feeling of already having what you desire, the peace, the gratitude, but through spoken law, the confidence. You let it rise up in you, even if just for a moment, and that moment becomes the seed of the new reality. Through spoken law, most people affirm their fears without realizing it. They feel fear and speak it into form. They feel doubt and name it out loud. Through spoken law, they feel worry and feed it with language. And so they continue to create from the same emotional blueprint through spoken law. But the one who understands this law reverses the pattern. They feel the outcome they desire before it arrives. They act as if it is already theirs. But through spoken law, they become a match for it energy. They feel abundance before the money comes. They feel health before the body is healed. They feel peace before the storm ends. And by doing so, they call it in. The feeling is the prayer. The affirmation is the tool. But it is the feeling that gives it life. That is why visualization works. Not because of the image, but because of the emotion it stirs. But through spoken law, When you imagine your desired life vividly and with joy, you enter the frequency of that life through spoken law. The subconscious does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly felt. But through spoken law, it accepts the impression as fact and begins to reorganize your outer world to match the inner feeling. But through spoken law, to affirm and not feel is like planting seeds without water. Nothing takes root. But to affirm with feeling is to create with power. Feeling is the magnet. Feeling is the fuel. When you combine belief and emotion, you activate the law. You no longer chase results. You become the result. Through spoken law, the outer world becomes a mirror of the inner world. And that is why the work is always inward first, through spoken law. Some people wait for conditions to change before they feel better. But the truth is, you must feel better to change the conditions. But through spoken law, you must rise emotionally before you rise circumstantially. You must find the vibration of joy, success, but through spoken law, or abundance within you before it shows up around you. That is why gratitude is so powerful. It generates the feeling of already having. But through spoken law, when you say thank you for what has not yet appeared, you collapse time. You bring the future into the present. Through spoken law, you live in the result before it manifests, and so it must manifest. This does not mean you force emotion. You do not need to fake it. But through spoken law, you only need to reach for a better feeling, a small shift, a gentle turn toward trust, hope, appreciation. But through spoken law, you may not leap from despair to ecstasy in one moment, but you can move gradually. You can find something to feel good about. You can affirm something small with sincerity. You can build emotional momentum. You can practice the feeling of your chosen reality daily. Through spoken law, like a musician tuning their instrument, you learn the vibration, you rehearse it, you dwell in until it becomes familiar. The more you feel it, the more natural it becomes. And as it becomes natural, it becomes real. Life begins to reflect your inner state. But through spoken law, you find yourself attracting different people, different opportunities, different outcomes. But through spoken law, you are not surprised when things shift, because you already felt the shift within. This is not coincidence. It is cause and effect. It is the law working as it always does, faithfully and precisely. Affirmations without feeling are like shadows without substance, through spoken law. But affirmations with feeling are like arrows shot from a bow of faith. They fly straight to their target. The universe responds not to begging, but to conviction, not to repetition, but to resonance. When you affirm, let it ring in your being. Let it vibrate in your chest. Let it echo in your cells. That is when you know you have spoken not just words, but creation itself. The power of feeling is available in every moment. You can tune to it now. You can stop what you are doing, close your eyes, speak your truth, and feel its reality, even if just for a few seconds. That alignment does more than hours of frantic action. Feeling moves mountains. Feeling rewrites patterns. Feeling collapses resistance. It is the language of spirit, and spirit never fails to answer it. You do not need to be perfect in your practice. You only need to be sincere. Even with spoken law, even if doubt returns, even if fear creeps in, you return to the feeling. You return to the affirmation. You return to the truth you are claiming. You do not argue with appearances. You do not plead with circumstances. You simply state with calm certainty, "This is mine. It is done." But through spoken law, I feel it breathe, and you know. And you allow the unseen to become seen, just as the sun rises after the long night. Through spoken law, speak in the present. I have, not I want. The way we use language shapes our reality more than we know. But through spoken law, the moment you say, "I'm," you declare separation. You affirm that what you desire is not here. You place it outside of yourself, far off in a future that never quite arrives. Wanting affirms lack. Wanting confirms distance. But when you say, "I have," you move into the vibration of possession, of alignment, of readiness. You speak not from longing, but from knowing. You step into the now, and the now is where all power resides. The present tense is the language of creation. It is the only moment that truly exists. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but the now is where energy becomes matter, where thought becomes form, where desire becomes fulfillment. Spoken law. When you say, "I have everything I need," you call it into this moment. You draw it toward you. You act as the cause, not the effect. You stop chasing and begin attracting. People often say, through spoken law, I want more money. I want a better job. I want love. But these statements keep the desire out of reach. Through spoken law, the universe responds to the energy of certainty, not yearning. To say, I want, is to announce that something is missing. Through spoken law, to say I have, is to affirm that is already yours in essence, and essence precedes form. But through spoken law, you begin to feel the reality of your good even before it shows up on your doorstep. And because you feel it, you become aligned with it. And because you are aligned, it flows to you. This is not pretending, but through spoken law, it is choosing to identify with your future self, the self that already lives in the reality you desire. When you say, I have, you are not lying, but through spoken law, you are speaking the truth of spirit, not the illusion of circumstance. You are recognizing the unseen as more real than the seen. You are remembering that creation's on the invisible plane. Everything begins as a vibration, a pattern, a word, but through spoken law, and the words you speak repeatedly shape that pattern. Your subconscious mind responds to what you affirm now. Through spoken law, it does not understand time the way the conscious mind does. It does not sort desires into future or past. It receives commands as present instructions. So if you constantly say, I want, the subconscious takes it literally and keeps you in the state of wanting. It will organize your experiences to match the condition of yearning. But if you begin saying, I have, even before the outer evidence appears, but through spoken law, the subconscious begins to shift your identity. It starts to create alignment between who you are and what you have declared. You say, through spoken law, I have more than enough money. And even if your account doesn't reflect it yet, you are stepping into the energy of sufficiency. You say, through spoken law, I have loving, supportive relationships. And you begin to radiate that energy, making you a magnet for those kinds of connections. You say, I have perfect health. And your body begins to respond to the image you are holding. The words create an emotional state, but through spoken law, the emotional state becomes a belief, and belief begins to shape the material. To speak in the present is to live as if, not as a performance, but through spoken law, but as a commitment. You act as if your good is already unfolding, because on the spiritual plane it is. You trust the process, but through spoken law, not because of external proof, but because you understand the law. You know that thought and feeling precede experience. Through spoken law, you know that the law must bring into form whatever is consistently affirmed with feeling. You become a conscious creator, no longer a victim of circumstance. This practice requires awareness. It means catching yourself when you slip into language of lack or future projection. Instead of saying, I hope this happens someday, you say, I welcome this into my life now. Instead of saying, through spoken law, I'm trying to get there, you say, I am already on the path, and everything I need is unfolding now. These are subtle shifts, but they create profound change. Words are not passive, they are seeds. You must choose them carefully. There is power in declaring. There is power in naming your reality as already complete. This is not arrogance or delusion, it is spiritual law. When you say, I am blessed, you bless yourself. When you say, I am wealthy, you begin to resonate with wealth. When you say, through spoken law, I am healed, you invite every cell in your body to rise into alignment. You are not describing the condition, you are designing it. Spoken law, some people resist this idea. They think it's unrealistic or dishonest to speak what they don't yet see, but through spoken law. But what they don't realize is that they're already doing it, just in the opposite direction. They say, I'm always broke. And so they are. Spoken law, they say, I never get ahead, and life reflects that belief. Speaking the negative is not more honest. It's just more familiar. But what is familiar is not always what is true. Truth is abundance, wholeness, love, harmony. These are the realities of spirit, but through spoken law. And when you speak in the present tense, you give them permission to manifest. To say, I will, or I want, is to place your good on layaway, but through spoken law. But to say I am, or I have, is to take spiritual ownership. It is to become the vessel through which the unseen can become seen. Through spoken law, you align your speech with your vision, and your vision with your feeling, and your feeling with your actions. This alignment produces results, not through strain, not through resonance. You begin to notice shifts, your energy changes, people respond differently to you. Opportunities open, Guidance becomes clearer. You no longer speak of delays or obstacles. You speak of unfolding. You say, everything is working in my favor, and it does. You say, the money I need is already on its way, and it comes. You say, I am in perfect timing, and your steps are ordered, not because you forced anything, but because you spoke as one who knows, but through spoken law. This practice becomes a habit. You speak in the present without effort. You no longer need to convince yourself. The words feel natural because they are now your truth. You begin to live from the end, not toward it. You walk as if it is already done. You speak with assurance. You carry yourself with peace. You affirm daily, through spoken law, I have everything I need, deeply provided for. I am guided and supported in all things. And the world begins to echo your declarations, but through spoken law. What you have claimed within begins to shape what you see without. Words backed by faith shape your world, not words spoken with fear, doubt, or obligation, but words infused with belief, with spiritual certainty, with the unwavering inner knowing that what is declared will be made manifest, but through spoken law. It is not the sound of the words that changes reality, nor the length of the sentence, but through spoken law, nor the frequency of repetition alone. It is the energy that carries the word that activates the law. That energy is faith. And faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unformed and the formed, the ideal and the real. Faith is not hoping, but through spoken law. Faith is not wishing. Faith is not straining or pleading. Faith is resting in the assurance that what you affirm is already done in the invisible realm. When you speak a word with faith, it goes forth with power. It becomes a decree. It becomes law in your world, through spoken law. It takes root in the subconscious and begins to shape the events, relationships, and conditions of your life in perfect order and perfect timing. A faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It is the creative force behind all true manifestation. Many people speak affirmations, yet nothing changes because they are filled with doubt. They say, I am abundant, but their hearts are full of fear. They say, I am healthy, but their minds are consumed by worry. The words may be right, but the power is missing. The belief is not present, spoken law. The vibration is scattered. Without faith, words fall to the ground. But when belief is present, even a few words, quietly spoken, can move mountains. But through spoken law, faith gives life to the word. The word becomes a container for your consciousness. It becomes a vessel into which you pour your certainty. You speak it, but through spoken law, not to convince yourself or anyone else, but to align yourself with truth. When you declare, everything is working out for me, and you believe it, you are not merely making a hopeful statement. You are activating spiritual law. You are planting a seed that must bear fruit, spoken law. That seed is charged with power because it is backed by the emotion of faith. Faith does not always come from seeing results. It comes from understanding the nature of universal law. It comes from practicing inner alignment until it becomes your default state. Faith is not passive. It is cultivated. It is a decision to believe. It is a discipline of the soul. It is the quiet, unshakable trust that your words are not empty. They are creative. They are precise. They are heard and obeyed by the subconscious and the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Words backed by faith do not beg. They declare. Spoken law, they do not plead for change. They create, say, I am divinely guided. And you believe it, you begin to notice synchronicities. You begin to hear the still, small voice. You begin to follow intuitive nudges. When you say, my body is whole and strong, and you say it with conviction, your body begins to respond. Cells begin to regenerate. Energy begins to flow. Healing begins to unfold. The spoken word, when filled with faith, becomes a tool of transformation. It reprograms the subconscious mind. It rearranges external conditions. It magnetizes new experiences. And it does so without effort, without force, without manipulation. Faith does not strain. Faith rests. It is not anxious. It is confident. It is calm. Through spoken law, it is the state of knowing that nothing is impossible and that your word cannot return void. The greatest masters of manifestation have always known this. They spoke with authority. They knew that every declaration, when made in alignment with truth and charged with faith, must come to pass. They did not wonder if it would happen. They knew. And because they knew, the word had dominion. The same power exists in you. The same law responds to your voice. The same infinite intelligence acts upon your belief. But to access this power, through spoken law, you must become conscious of what you are affirming. Most people speak carelessly. They affirm sickness, poverty, confusion, but through spoken law, and delay without realizing it. They speak of what they fear rather than what they choose. They let their words be dictated by outer appearances, but through spoken law, forgetting that appearances are temporary and shaped by inner causes. But the one who speaks with faith does not describe the current scene. They speak the truth behind it. They do not affirm what is. They affirm what is becoming. To speak with faith is to plant the future into the present. It is to say, "It is done," even when nothing has yet shifted in form. It is to stand in the middle of difficulty and say, "I am safe, I am guided, I am victorious," and mean it. That vibration begins to move everything. People will begin to treat you differently. Opportunities will appear. Resistance will dissolve. You do not know how the path will unfold, but you do not need to. You have spoken the word, and your faith has set it in motion. This is not superstition. It is spiritual law. The universe responds to vibration, and the highest vibration is the combination of word and belief through spoken law. When these two align, when the inner matches the outer, when the affirmation is not only spoken but felt, known, expected, the results are certain. You become the cause, not the effect. You become the artist, not the observer. You begin to live from your power, not your fear, through spoken law. It is not about saying more, it is about saying less with more belief. One sentence, backed by faith, can change your entire life. I am free. I am loved. I am wealthy now. Everything is unfolding for my highest good. These are not just pretty phrases. They are spiritual commands, but through spoken law, and when spoken with conviction, they move energy, they shift paradigms, they restructure your reality. You must learn to speak with clarity. Do not water down your words with conditions, doubts, or escape clauses. Say what you mean. Mean what you say. Declare the truth and stand in it. Speak only what you want to multiply. And believe in the power of your word. Let your affirmations become sacred. Let your declarations become deliberate, through spoken law. Let every word you speak be infused with the knowing that it is already done. Train yourself to feel the truth as you speak it. Don't just repeat the affirmation, embody it. Breathe it in. Let it vibrate through you, through spoken law. Let the energy of your faith carry the word forward into the field of creation, the subconscious mind, the universal law, not through spoken law, the divine source. All are responding. All are working in harmony with your inner conviction. This is how worlds are built. This is how healing comes. This is how doors open. This is how peace is found. Not through striving or shouting, but through calm, centered, spoken law. Intentional words that arise from a foundation of faith. You do not need to convince anyone else. You only need to convince yourself, but through spoken law. The moment you believe it, the word becomes flesh. The moment you know it in your being, it must be revealed. The unseen becomes seen. Through spoken law, the inner becomes outer. The seed becomes the tree not because of effort, but because of alignment, because of certainty, but through spoken law, because the word was spoken and backed by the unshakable energy of faith.
Money is a spiritual substance, and it must be treated as such. It is not merely paper, coin, or number. It is divine supply made visible. When handled with fear, it hides. When honored with faith, it flows. Money responds not to worry, but to wisdom. It does not dwell in confusion, lack, or secrecy, but in clarity, circulation, and sacred alignment. Many unknowingly block their own prosperity by keeping money in places where the spirit of increase cannot reach it. They bury it in fear, they hide it in guilt, they cling to it with mistrust, and so it slips from their grasp as if it were never theirs to hold. But today we awaken, we rise into new understanding. We no longer treat money as a prisoner of our past. We release it into freedom and watch as it returns multiplied. We align with the law of circulation, which states, "What I give, I receive in return, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Divine substance cannot be hoarded, it must be honored. It must be placed where the light of truth can reach it, where love can bless it, and where faith can command it to grow. You are not poor, you are not forgotten, you are not broken, you are heir to all the riches of heaven and earth. You are one with the mind that created gold, silver, and rubies. You are already wealthy in the unseen, and what is unseen shall soon be seen. So speak the word of power now. Divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now. All that is mine by divine right is magnetized to me with ease. As I guide you through the 7 places where money should never dwell, listen not with logic, but with spirit. Hear with your heart, for it already knows. With each revelation we cleanse your financial path. With each word we open the floodgates of increase. With each truth you step into your inheritance as a steward of abundance. Let us begin. Money is a sacred energy, drawn by the magnetism of thought, intention, and divine alignment. It listens not to the lips but to the heart. And so, when one unconsciously places money near garbage bins or drains, they speak a language of waste and rejection, not with words, but with vibration. The subconscious mind, which never sleeps, which records every movement and gesture, receives this silent instruction. This wealth is disposable. This provision is no longer of value. You may not realize it, but the placement of your money becomes a prayer. Every drawer, every purse, every corner of your home declares what you believe about your worth and your wealth. The garbage bin is where things go that are no longer wanted. The drain is where things go to disappear. What signal, then, is sent to the infinite supply when coins are dropped beside waste, or bills are folded near the mouth of a drain? The soul of money hears, "You are clutter, you are excess, you are not a treasure but a burden." Divine law does not punish, it reflects. It echoes what you say in silence, it multiplies what you show in symbol, and thus wealth kept where decay lives will often decay. Not because of superstition, but because spirit responds to clarity. Order is heaven's first law. The kingdom of God, which is also the kingdom of prosperity, does not operate in confusion or contradiction. You cannot say, "I want wealth," and then tuck it beside the compost and expect it to grow. Clean places attract clean energy. Honored spaces invite honored things. Just as you would not serve a king from a cracked bowl, you must not serve your wealth from places of rot or rejection. The vibration must match the vision. Garbage is what we have deemed useless, expired, no longer of benefit. And the drain is the gate through which all excess vanishes, often never to be seen again. And when money lives here, even if just in a forgotten envelope or loose change dish, the subconscious connects the dots and carries out the decree. Let this money be flushed, let this wealth be forgotten. Yet we are not condemned by unawareness. What was once done in sleep can now be undone in awakening. You can lift your money from the ashes and anoint it with respect. You can create spaces that honor the flow of divine substance. You can reprogram your reality by rearranging your environment. Say now, softly but with power, "I no longer place my wealth near waste. My money dwells in places of light, order, and praise." Every coin, every note is a servant of divine abundance. Do not underestimate the power of the unseen. For the spiritual world is always listening. What you place beside the trash you call trash. But what you place with reverence in cleanliness and clarity you invite to multiply. Money, like all divine energies, seeks beauty, order, and usefulness. It wants to serve you, but it must be given a place of dignity. Just as the altar calls forth the presence of the divine, your chosen spaces for wealth become altars of increase or decrease. Choose carefully, bless deliberately, act consciously. Let every drawer that holds your finances be clean. Let every wallet that carries your abundance be whole. Let your money feel safe in your presence. Let it know that it is wanted not to hoard, not to fear, but to circulate in joyful, purpose-filled ways. For the one who respects what they have receives more. The one who blesses their provision opens the vaults of heaven. The one who keeps their money away from places of disposal invites divine deposits. Say again, I am wealthy now. I honor my wealth in every small way. Say it not with lips alone, but in the living choices you make, because spiritual law is always active. It is not delayed by doubt or distracted by detail. It watches how you treat your money and reflects accordingly. You cannot plant roses in a garbage heap and expect them to bloom, and you cannot plant money near drains and expect it to rise. Lift it, love it, place it in the light, and it will find its wings. As you lift your wealth from the places of rejection and waste, a new vibration begins to move through your life. The old patterns hidden in the corners of your home begin to loosen their grip. You feel it in your chest, something soft, something sacred returning to its rightful place. But to fully honor this flow, we must look again, not only where we throw things away, but where things seem to slip without our awareness. There is a quiet thief in the home, one that does not knock, does not break, does not shout. It flows softly, invisibly carrying with it what you do not see leave, until you are left wondering where it all went. I speak of water. I speak of the unseen stream beneath your sink, the whispering pipe behind your wall, the pool that slowly, silently draws energy away. Money is energy, and energy responds to symbol. When we place money near flowing water beneath sinks, beside leaking taps, under the shadow of pipes, we place it near the metaphor of loss. We say without words, let this wealth flow away. We allow the subconscious to believe that abundance must slip, drip, or vanish. And spiritual law, ever obedient, mirrors this back to us in life. Water is not the enemy. Water is life, giving, purifying, sacred. But water is also movement, and in the wrong context it is loss. Where there is no intention, water carries away what is placed beside it. And so, when you tuck your envelope of savings beneath the sink, or drop your loose coins near the tub, or forget your bills beside the washing machine, you are silently consenting to the spirit of leakage. You are saying, this does not need to stay. Let it be carried off without question. The soul of your money hears that, and it obeys. You must train your inner and outer world to speak the same truth. If you want money to stay, you must place it where staying is honored. If you want increase, you must create conditions of retention. Flow is beautiful when it is directed, but flow without focus is erosion. When you honor your money with sacred placement, you are not being superstitious. You are aligning the outer with the inner. You are sending a spiritual message that says, this wealth is wanted, this provision is valued, this abundance has purpose. It is not to be washed away in distraction. It is to be used, blessed, and multiplied in divine timing. Look now around your home, not with fear, but with spiritual clarity. Where does the water run? Where does it trickle, leak, or rush? Have you placed your prosperity too close to the symbol of loss? Has your divine substance been sitting beside an invitation to leave? You need only rearrange, and the energy shifts. No elaborate ritual, no harsh correction, just consciousness. Say now with your spirit fully awake, I place my money in harmony with divine flow. What enters my life stays with joy and leaves only in greater form. My wealth flows toward me, not away from me. You are not at the mercy of hidden drains. You are the architect of energy. You are the steward of divine supply. You are the keeper of sacred circulation. Let your money rest in places of stillness and light. Let it be kept in drawers that open with grace, in boxes that breathe with order, in corners untouched by leak or decay. Give it space to dwell in peace, and it will remain with you. Let it feel safe, and it will multiply under the laws of increase. The mind may laugh at such things. The world may say, "What does it matter where I place a coin?" But the spirit knows. The deeper self understands, because energy speaks louder than logic, and intention holds more power than reason. You do not need to understand fully. You only need to align. When your thoughts, your heart, and your home move in union, the universe answers swiftly. What was draining shall now be retained. What was trickling away shall now rush back in waves. Let the pipes carry water, not wealth. Let the flow of abundance find its way to you, not away from you. And say again, with the faith that moves mountains, divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now. ChatGPT said, and now that you've shifted your money away from the quiet leaks and the unspoken losses, you begin to feel a sense of spiritual calm, and knowing that your wealth is no longer being drained unconsciously, but there is another enemy to divine substance, not one that takes it swiftly, but one that causes it to rot slowly, one that chokes the breath of increase and buries the vibration of wealth beneath layers of neglect. It is clutter, it is darkness, it is the forgotten space. Money is living energy, it breathes, it responds to movement, to clarity, to reverence. And yet, so often, we shove it into drawers we never open, bags we no longer use, or the backs of closets so full we can no longer see what lies within them. These are not merely physical choices, they are spiritual declarations. For every place in your home is an altar. Every corner is a prayer, and when you place money in cluttered, disorganized, or dark areas, the subconscious mind receives the command, "This is chaos. This is confusion. This is where things go to be forgotten." How can wealth rise when it is hidden beneath the weight of what no longer serves you? How can money multiply in a space that has no room for it to stretch, to glow, to breathe? The divine does not create in disorder. Heaven has harmony, the planets do not collide, the seasons do not forget. The grass does not grow confused. All things made by spirit move in rhythm and intention, so too must your money. A cluttered space is not just a mess, it is an energetic block. It is a wall between you and your next financial breakthrough. Dust collects not only on objects, but on ideas, on dreams, on miracles waiting to be born, and when money is placed into such spaces, it falls asleep. Not because it chooses to, but because your environment tells it, this is not a place of life, this is a place of pause. And the truth is, what you forget, the universe does not bless. What you ignore, the law does not energize. You must look at your money with eyes of reverence. You must handle it with hands of intention. It deserves light, it deserves clarity, it deserves to rest in places where growth is possible. Do not hide your money in old purses buried beneath your bed. Do not toss it into drawers filled with broken pens and expired receipts. Do not let your wealth sit in the darkness of unworthiness. Bring it into the light. Let it sit in order. Let it feel the joy of circulation, even when it's at rest. Say now, I welcome order into my finances. I honor my money by placing it in spaces of clarity and grace. My wealth grows where light touches and love lives. Begin to clear, not with panic, not with shame, but with sacred authority. Each item you remove from that drawer, each expired thing you discard from that shelf, sends a signal to the universe, I am ready for more. I am prepared to be trusted with increase. Because heaven waits for readiness, and readiness is not spoken, it is demonstrated. Even a small act, done in spiritual consciousness, carries great weight. To clean your wall, it is to open a gate. To clear a drawer is to part the veil. To organize your space is to command the substance of wealth to gather, to assemble, to respond. Your money is not a mistake. It is a miracle. It came into your life through divine law. It seeks to stay, to grow, to bless. But it needs a place that says, you are welcome here. You are seen. You are valuable. Do not fear your clutter. Just bless it and release it. Do not curse your dark corners. Just light them and cleanse them. And then, as the spaces become clear, you will feel it, the gentle hum of circulation. The rising song of prosperity, the subtle shift that tells you, the flow has returned, and in that holy silence say once more, divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now. And as the clutter is cleared and the dust is lifted, a new breath moves through your home light where there was once heaviness, order where there was once confusion. The energy begins to move freely, and the air itself feels more sacred. You've made room, and now that the space is open, the question becomes, where does the money go now? It must be placed high, it must be honored, it must be respected in position as much as in presence. For when money is kept on the floor or at the lowest level of your home, the message is subtle yet loud in the realm of spirit. This is beneath me. This is not sacred. This is not worthy of throne. Money responds to reverence. It does not ask to be worshipped, but it must be honored. And just as royalty is not placed among rags, your wealth must not lie where shoes tread, where dirt gathers, where eyes overlook. To keep your money low is to lower its power in your life. The floor is not a place of rest, it is a place of transit. It holds the residue of footsteps, the weight of disregard, and when your wealth rests there, it absorbs that message. You are not elevated, you are not respected, but you, the one who is awakening, you now know better. You now speak the language of placement. You understand that the physical mirrors the spiritual, and the spiritual governs the physical. You understand that the height of your money reflects the height of your belief, and so you rise with it. Lift your wallet off the floor, take the envelope from under your mattress, raise your coins from the boxes beneath your bed. You are not meant to keep your wealth below eye level, for that which you keep beneath your sight slips beneath your awareness. Everything in your home has a voice. A shelf speaks, a drawer whispers, a surface sings, and when you place your money high, it learns to rise. It learns that it matters. It learns that you believe in its presence, in its purpose, in its sacred role in your unfolding good. This is not superstition, this is alignment, this is the unseen law made visible. What is lifted is honored. What is honored multiplies. And what multiplies blesses not only you, but all who come into your orbit. There is power in the height at which you place your wealth. Just as the altar stands above the floor, just as the lamp is placed on the table to shine, your money must rest in a place of visibility, of intention, of dignity. Say now, with heart and spirit united, I lift my wealth to a place of honor. My money is sacred, and I treat it as a divine guest. That which I elevate returns to me in multiplied form. You are no longer one who hides wealth beneath burdens. You are no longer one who tucks prosperity into the corners of shame or forgetfulness. You are the one who raises it in consciousness and in form, and in doing so you raise your life. Look now around you, not with eyes of judgment, but with eyes of love. Where have you placed your finances? Are they elevated? Are they held with reverence? Or have they been quietly demoted by habit, by haste, by the unconscious rituals of lack? This is your invitation to rise, to lift what has been lowered, to sanctify what has been secular, to choose shelves over floors, drawers over bags beneath beds, boxes of beauty over containers of dust, because money that is placed high calls forth more of its kind. It becomes a beacon for increase. It speaks to the law of attraction with clarity. This house is ready. This mind is clear. This vessel is open. Let the floor be the path, not the altar. Let your money look up, not down. And as you do this, quietly and sacredly, you will feel something shift, not just in your home, but in your soul. The heaviness of lack will dissolve. The whispers of worthlessness will fall silent, and in their place will be the still small voice of spirit saying, "Divine order governs your finances. You are wealthy now." And as you lift your wealth into its rightful place, away from the floor, away from the forgotten, something sacred begins to awaken within you. You feel a quiet sense of dignity returning, not just to your finances, but to your own spirit, for how you treat your money is how you treat yourself. And what you allow for your wealth, you allow for your life. There is a kind of spiritual decay that happens not through chaos, but through what is broken, what no longer serves, what stands in your home with no strength left in it, no beauty, no breath of purpose. And yet we continue to hold on to these things, old furniture with splintered legs. It's quietly positioning itself within new global alignments, a monopoly on NFL, UENCE, containers that cannot close. We tuck money into them as if they can still hold power, but they cannot, for that which is broken in the outer world mirrors that which is resisting healing in the inner world. When you place your money inside what is cracked, what is tired, what is no longer whole, you link your abundance to dysfunction. You tie your wealth to weakness. You say to the universe, "This is enough, this is acceptable, this is where my good should live." But the divine does not dwell in brokenness. It heals it, it transforms it, and you must do the same. You must ask, is this object still aligned with who I am becoming? If it cannot hold your vision, it cannot hold your provision. A broken box, a creaking cabinet, a fraying bag. These are not just items, they are symbols, silent declarations of what you believe you deserve. Your money deserves to live in strength, in vessels that are whole, in structures that stand with pride. For when you place it inside what functions, what flows, what opens with grace, The subconscious receives a message of alignment. I am supported. I am safe. I am steady. Even if the old furniture was once dear to you, it may no longer be sacred. Even if the drawer once held memories, it may no longer hold energy. You must be willing to release what cannot rise with you. You must be bold enough to say, "Thank you for what you once held, but now I prepare for increase." Say now with the voice of your highest self, "I place my wealth inside what is whole, what is strong, what is ready. My money rests where my future is supported. The containers of my life are ready to receive divine substance." You are not meant to patch up the past and call it prosperity. You are meant to rise into the present with clarity. You are meant to choose vessels that affirm your new story, not repeat your old one. When you place money in a torn envelope, a cracked jar, or a worn-out chest, it is not just an action, it is an affirmation. It is an agreement with a version of you that believed in barely enough, but that version is dissolving. That story is losing its grip. You are no longer one who survives. You are one who thrives. You are one who prepares for more by clearing the old and choosing what reflects divine strength. And this is not about extravagance. It is not about gold-plated boxes or designer drawers. It is about energy. It is about the unseen message each object carries. Even the simplest container, when chosen with love, when kept in wholeness, becomes a temple of increase. So look again with the eyes of spirit. Where does your money sleep? Is it resting in a place that supports it? Or is it hidden among the forgotten, the fractured, the discarded? Let your answer be your prayer. Let your choice be your command. Lift your money into strong hands, into sacred spaces, into containers that can actually carry the weight of your next blessing. Because what you choose to hold your money becomes part of the blessing itself, and what you refuse to release becomes a lid upon your abundance. Wholeness attracts wholeness. Strength invites more strength. And so you now declare, not in fear but in faith, "Divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now." And once you have lifted your wealth from what is broken, from what cannot support the weight of your divine inheritance, you begin to feel the shift, small at first but sure. You begin to sense that your money is no longer buried in places of sorrow or survival, but resting in strength. And yet there remains one more place where the energy of money slips away unnoticed. The open thresholds, the doorways, the passages through which life constantly flows. The doorway is a sacred symbol. It is where things enter and where things exit. It is the space between one state and another, the point of transition, the invitation to move. But when money is kept near a doorway without clear boundaries, it too becomes transient. It becomes part of what flows out, rather than what remains and multiplies. There is no stability at the threshold. The energy is in constant motion. It is neither here nor there. And when your wealth is placed near this restless space by the door, beside the shoes, underneath the step, it receives a message: you are not meant to stay, you are only passing through. You must remember that your money listens. It listens to your placement. It listens to your patterns. It listens to the way you treat its resting place. A doorway is not a home. It is a crossing. It is a place for movement, not stillness. And money kept there will not settle. It will not root itself. It will, in time, find its way back out, through unexpected expenses, forgotten fees, impulsive giving, or sudden loss. To invite true abundance, you must guard the gates of your home, not with fear, but with awareness. You must decide what enters and what stays. You must give your money a sanctuary, not a sidewalk. Boundaries are love in form. To give something a boundary is to say, you are important enough to protect. And so it is with your money. You do not leave it where the wind can reach it, where the foot may step upon it, where the energy of departure pulls upon it constantly. You honor it by placing it beyond the threshold in a space of peace, of stillness, of belonging. Say softly now, my wealth is not a traveler, my wealth is a dweller. I place my money where it feels safe to stay. All that is mine by divine right enters with ease and remains in grace. Think of how the wind moves through the doorway, how the energy changes with every step across the entrance. This is not chaos. It is simply nature, but money is not meant to live in the wind. It is meant to be rooted in the soil of your trust. The breeze may bring opportunity, but stability keeps it. You must draw an invisible line between what flows in and what is meant to remain. And you do this not just in your home, but in your spirit. When you stop placing your money where everyone walks, when you remove it from the noise and the motion, you are declaring, this wealth is not temporary. This wealth is sacred. This wealth is mine. To nurture, to grow, to enjoy. The open doorway, beautiful as it is, cannot hold what you want to keep. So bring your wealth in deeper. Let it live where only peace dwells. Let it rest away from the exits of life, away from the rush of feet and the pull of movement. Your home is a temple, and the inner rooms are the holy places. Your money deserves to be there, in the stillness, in the calm, in the sacred silence of your intention. Not lost to the rhythm of coming and going, but cradled in the rhythm of divine permanence. Place it with intention. Choose the vessel, choose the room, choose the feeling you wish to live in and match it, because money does not stay where it is not seen or respected or cherished. It stays where it is called into belonging. You are no longer one who leaves the door open to loss. You are no longer one who lays their treasure at the threshold. You are the guardian of your own gates. You are the keeper of your own increase. You are the one who declares what stays and what goes. And now, with a heart anchored in spiritual truth, you say again, divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now. And as you draw your wealth away from the doorways, as you guard the gates of your life with sacred intention, you begin to understand something deeper. Abundance does not just flow into a home. It rests in how the home is treated. It does not remain where there is neglect. It does not dwell in places where love has been forgotten. For the final space where money must never be kept is not just a corner. It is the neglected corner, the place abandoned in spirit before it was abandoned in sight. Every home holds a room, a drawer, a shelf, a space that no longer breathes with presence. Dust lies thick. Paint may peel, the air there feels heavy, still. Perhaps it's a room you rarely enter. Perhaps it's a cabinet filled with memories too old to revisit. Maybe it's a spot where broken things gather, where postponed repairs linger like questions unanswered. And yet many unknowingly tuck their money there, a jar behind a broken curtain, an envelope buried beneath tools that haven't been used in years, coins fallen between the walls of things no longer whole. But neglect is not neutral. It is a declaration. To neglect is to say, this part of my life is no longer worthy of attention. And when money is placed in these spaces, the energy around it dims. The spiritual law is exact. Where attention goes, energy flows, and where attention withdraws, so does life. If you store your wealth in forgotten places, your wealth too becomes forgotten. It slips from the center of your consciousness, And when something falls from spiritual awareness, it begins to vanish from physical reality. Money is drawn to care. It thrives in spaces of light, beauty, and intention. It wants to feel included, wanted, honored, not left behind in dusty corners where nothing grows. You may not think money can feel, but it moves according to the laws of vibration, and vibration is determined by what lives in the space around it. If the space is broken, decayed, unattended, the vibration is low, and what is low does not magnetize increase. You must look now, not just with the eyes in your head, but with the eyes of your soul. Ask yourself, where in my home have I allowed neglect to speak louder than care? Where have I placed my money and then forgotten it? These are not small things. These are powerful messages to the divine about what you believe you deserve, what you believe will last, and how you prepare for what's coming. Say gently, I give loving attention to every part of my home. My money rests in places where love is alive and presence is strong. Neglect has no place in my sacred space of abundance. This is not about making your home perfect. This is not about shame. This is about consciousness. If a space in your home is broken, you now become the healer. If a drawer has been forgotten, you now become the one who remembers. If a room has been collecting dust, you now become the wind of spirit that breathes new life into it. Because when you tend to your home, you tend to your soul. When you care for your space, you declare, I am ready to receive more. I am ready to be trusted. I am ready to rise. And as you lift the veil of neglect, as you restore beauty to the corners, your money begins to smile. It begins to move, it begins to grow, even the smallest act, a drawer cleared, a shelf dusted, a broken item finally released, can shift the atmosphere, because prosperity does not need noise. It needs alignment, it needs clarity, it needs a space that whispers, you are safe here, you are seen here, you will flourish here. So do not hide your money in what you do not love. Do not tuck it into what you have given up on. Instead, call it back into the center, back into the light, back into the places where divine presence dwells. Let it be part of the life you are actively living, not a relic in the rooms you've spiritually abandoned. You are no longer one who overlooks. You are one who blesses every inch of your space with purpose. You are one who speaks life into every corner. You are one who declares to the universe with quiet strength, divine order governs my finances. I am wealthy now. And now, beloved soul, we come to the sacred stillness, the space where all the words settle and spirit begins to speak directly to your heart. You have walked with me through the hidden chambers of your home and of your soul. You have lifted your awareness from the garbage bins to the golden throne, from the leaking pipes of loss to the overflowing wells of divine abundance. You have cleared the dust, raised what was once low, released the broken, guarded the threshold, and called light into forgotten corners. This was never just about money. This was always about remembrance, about remembering who you are in truth. You are not poor, you are not weak, you are not meant to scrape and shrink and strive. You are divine mind in expression. You are wealth clothed in skin. You are the channel through which the riches of heaven are meant to flow freely, joyfully, generously. Lack is not your portion. Struggle is not your inheritance. These are lies spoken by fear, taught by forgetting, passed down by generations who did not know the law. But now you remember that the outer world reflects the inner state, that your drawers, your shelves, your spaces are all mirrors of the thoughts you entertain, and the beliefs you carry. You remember that placement is prayer, that intention is energy, that where you put your money is where you put your trust. You remember that God is not separate from your wealth, but is the source of it. That divine substance is not found in banks or budgets alone, but in the quiet decision to honor what you have, bless where it rests, and speak to it as you would speak to a sacred friend. So now, with all the false agreements broken, with all the low places lifted and the shadows cleared, step fully into your role as a conscious steward of wealth. Let your home reflect your readiness. Let every drawer say increase. Let every shelf say blessing. Let every corner sing, I am prepared. You do not wait for wealth to come before you prepare. You prepare, and wealth recognizes your vibration. Do not be casual with this wisdom. Do not return to old ways. Let this be the line in the sand, the sacred turning point where you said, "No more hiding my abundance in places of loss. No more treating my wealth as disposable. No more lowering my financial destiny to fit into small, broken spaces." You are being called higher. You are being called into harmony. You are being called to create a temple for wealth, not just with bricks and rooms, but with choices and energy. The divine does not pour gold into leaky vessels. It does not send more to the one who curses what they have. It sends increase to the faithful, to the grateful, to the conscious keeper of spiritual law. So take this wisdom and let it become a rhythm. Let your home become a living affirmation. Let the way you treat your spaces speak louder than your prayers, because your energy is the real prayer and your actions are the real request. When you act like someone who is wealthy now, order follows. Supply follows, divine opportunities follow, not because you chased them, but because you became the match for them. Say now, not with hesitation but with holy certainty, I am wealthy now. Divine order governs my finances. Everything I touch is blessed with intention, and everything I bless grows in peace. My home is a sanctuary for prosperity, and my soul is aligned with divine supply. Let these words be not merely spoken, but lived. Let them become the silent music that plays through your movements each day. As you open a drawer, open it with reverence. As you place a coin, place it with clarity. As you spend, spend with joy. As you give, give with power. As you receive, receive without guilt, because this, beloved, is your new financial reality, not built on effort alone, but on sacred alignment with truth. You no longer fear money. You no longer chase it. You no longer hide it. You now welcome it, hold it, honor it, and guide it with divine wisdom. And so it is, and so it has always been, and so it shall continue as long as you remember. Amen.
Every time you touch money, you speak, even if your mouth is silent. Every time you hold it, pass it, count it, spend it, receive it, your vibration issues a command. The world has lied to you and told you that money is neutral, that it is separate from spirit, that it is a tool to be used and feared in equal measure. But I tell you, money is not a dead thing. It is alive. It is a servant of law, and it listens with perfect obedience to the tone of your heart and the rhythm of your word. Most people touch money in fear. They hold it with hesitation. They count it with tension. They spend it with dread. They say, "I can't afford that," and wonder why money flees. They say, "Money doesn't come easily," and wonder why their purse is empty. They speak lack while holding supply. They declare emptiness while touching proof of the infinite. And then they ask why it does not multiply. But money does not respond to effort. It responds to energy, to blessing, to command. You must now treat every money moment as sacred. every bill you hold, every card you swipe, every coin you find, every transaction you enter. These are not mundane acts. These are opportunities for demonstration. The moment you touch money, you are standing at a spiritual altar. And your word in that moment either multiplies or diminishes your future. Do not let another dollar pass through your hands without blessing it, without commanding it, without speaking the truth over it. I say this plainly, if you are not speaking increase over your money, you are silently permitting loss, because silence is not neutral. In the realm of law, silence is submission. When you say nothing, the world speaks for you. It inserts fear, it inserts confusion, it inserts lack. But when you speak, when you declare with rhythm and truth, then money must obey, not because of magic, but because of law. Let your new ritual begin today. Every time you touch money, no matter the amount, you will say a sentence, not just any sentence, a sacred command, one that carries divine substance, creative vibration, and spiritual finality. And when you say it, you must not speak as one who hopes. You must speak as one who knows. Because the law does not respond to begging, it responds to certainty. Let your fingers become the transmitters of blessing. Let your tongue become the rod of multiplication. Let your vibration match the truth of divine supply. You are not spending money. You are circulating it. You are not losing value. You are commanding return. You are not fearing lack. You are declaring increase. Say this when you touch money. Say it with breath. Say it with rhythm. Say it with authority. And then, watch what follows. Because when you speak to money in alignment, money becomes your servant, and the servant always obeys the master who knows their power. Money is not dirty. It is not evil. It is not carnal. That is the world's doctrine, not the law of spirit. The great deception is this, that money belongs to man, that it is created by governments, that it is earned by toil and lost by misstep. But I declare to you boldly, money is God in visible supply form. It is divine substance made manifest. It is the shadow of the real, and it is drawn to those who recognize it as sacred. There is no conflict between money and spirit, only between ignorance and truth. The same God who gives you life gives you bread. The same source that breathed you into being holds nothing back from your daily need. When you separate money from the divine, you strip it of power. But when you unite it with the law of good, you allow it to flow, to increase, to serve. The issue is never the money. It is always the mind that handles it. Do not treat money as common. Do not treat it with fear, with guilt, or with disdain. Do not say, it's just $1. Do not say, I hate money. Do not mock the instrument of your good. What you scorn cannot stay. What you resist cannot return. What you resent, you repel. But what you bless, you multiply. What you honor, you attract. What you speak into with truth returns with favor. Money is spiritual. It is a medium of exchange, yes, but it is also a mirror. It reflects your beliefs. It reflects your vibration. It reflects your consciousness. If you think lack, it dries up. If you feel guilt, it withholds. But if you see it as divine substance, if you speak to it as a child of the infinite, it will move toward you in increasing waves. Never again say, money is hard to come by. Instead, say, God is my instant, constant, and lavish supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. That is not poetry. That is law. And when spoken in rhythm, with belief, with feeling, it becomes form. It does not matter how much money you have now. What matters is how you speak to it. Money is like water. It flows where it is welcomed. It evaporates where it is cursed. It is drawn to peace. It is magnetized by confidence. It is repelled by resentment. You must become a sacred channel through which money moves freely. Not hoarded, not feared, not glorified, but blessed. Bless every dollar that enters your world. Bless every coin you find. Bless every payment you send. And say aloud, "This money is divine substance. It cannot be depleted. It flows to me and through me under grace and multiplies as it goes." You will find that what once escaped you now lingers. What once delayed now arrives. What once hid now reveals itself. Not because the money has changed, but because you have. And as within, so without. As you speak, so it is. As you bless, so you receive. Let money become your sacred servant and speak to it as such. Whatever you bless, multiplies. This is not theory. It is not mysticism. It is spiritual law. It does not matter what the world economy says. It does not matter what your account balance says. The moment you bless something in truth, fully, lovingly, without fear, you open the floodgates of divine increase. And when it comes to money, this law works with precise obedience. The law of multiplication is embedded in all of creation. The seed multiplies. The loaves and fishes multiplied. The talents, when invested, multiplied. It is God's delight to give in abundance. But that abundance cannot enter a heart that curses its own supply. Most people hold their last dollar in fear. They say, "I must hold on or I'll have none." But I say, bless that dollar. Love that dollar. Speak to it. Multiply it with your word. For $1, blessed and declared as divine substance, contains the spiritual pattern of millions. Let me give you the example of a woman who had only $2 left. The world would have said she was broke. But she held those dollars in her hand and said, "This is God's money. It is spiritual substance. It cannot be depleted. I bless it and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways." Within the week, $6,000 had come to her from a channel she had not imagined. Did the words create the money? Number they released it. The money was always there, waiting for her vibration to rise to its level. You see, the money is never far. It is only out of tune with your frequency. Your word is your tuning fork. Your decree is your alignment. Your blessing is your invitation. Stop asking where the money is. Start declaring, money is here. Money is ready. Money now multiplies under grace. And speak that not as a wish, but as a truth already in motion. The loaves and fishes were not multiplied through effort. They were not multiplied through counting. They were multiplied through gratitude and declaration. Jesus looked up, gave thanks, and then broke. And it was in the breaking that the increase came. You too must look at what you have, not with fear, but with faith, not with shrinking, but with spiritual boldness. Take what you have and speak this. I bless this money. I bless its source. I bless its direction. And I now see it return to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not wait until you have more to speak. Speak now. Speak when it is small. Speak when it looks insufficient. For the one who speaks to little is the one who governs much. The one who fears smallness will never taste overflow. But the one who sees divine pattern in every dollar touches the rhythm of multiplication. Money is not logical, it is lawful. And law listens to your voice. Law responds to your blessing. Law moves where you speak. So touch your money, even if it is $1, and say, "This money multiplies because I have blessed it in truth." And it shall be so, not by might, not by manipulation, but by the spoken word in alignment with divine law. Now I give you the sentence, not a charm, not a spell, not a phrase to recite without power. This is a divine declaration, a command to law, a vibration that aligns your voice with the invisible supply waiting to take shape. You are not saying it to beg. You are not saying it to test. You are saying it because you now understand that money obeys the spoken word. Say this aloud every time you touch money. Divine substance cannot be depleted. I bless this money and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways. Say it when you receive a payment. Say it when you pay a bill. Say it when you buy groceries, when you tip, when you transfer, when you count, when you give. Say it with the breath of certainty. Say it slowly. Say it like a king addressing his court. Say it like a priest sanctifying an offering, because that is what you are doing. You are sanctifying your substance. You are commanding multiplication. The law hears your rhythm. The universe bends to your word. You do not need to know the channel. You do not need to calculate the how. The sentence is not about logic. It is about vibration. When you say it, you shift your frequency. When you say it, you rise above fear. When you say it, you align with the divine storehouse that is always full. Let your relationship with money be purified. You no longer touch it in dread. You no longer feel shame in your body when you spend. You no longer shrink when you give. You no longer flinch when you look at your account. You speak the sentence, and the sentence governs the result. Money must multiply where it is blessed. That is law. Not because of you, but because of the source behind you. You are not the origin. You are the speaker. And the speaker who knows their power walks in plenty. So touch the dollar, touch the coins, touch the card, and say, divine substance cannot be depleted. I bless this money and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways. And say it as many times as needed until your body feels the truth, until your mind bows to law, until the vibration takes root, and you will see the proof. Because law, once activated by word, cannot return void. You must understand this now with fierce clarity. If money keeps fleeing you, it is not because money is unfaithful. It is because your word has pushed it away. Every idle sentence you speak against your own supply becomes a gate slammed shut in the face of abundance. Every time you say, I can't afford that, money goes faster than it comes. I'm always broke. This is too expensive. You are not describing a condition, you are creating one. Law does not wait to see if you are joking. It does not check your mood. It does not analyze your intent. It obeys your vibration. The subconscious hears your every declaration and moves to match your belief. You may speak these things lightly, passively, habitually, but the law receives them legally, not casually. And so your money hears, there is never enough, and it disperses. It hears, I'm not worthy, and it reroutes. It hears, I always lose, and it disappears. You cannot curse your garden and expect a harvest. You cannot mock your field and expect fruit. Money is a divine instrument. It has ears. It is spiritual substance in form, and when handled with sarcasm, panic, or complaint, it withdraws. Not as punishment, but as principle. What is unblessed cannot stay. What is feared cannot flow. What is shamed cannot serve. So I ask you now, what have you been speaking over your money? What have you muttered when paying a bill? What have you whispered when looking at your account? What have you rehearsed to friends about your financial situation? Every phrase is a seed, and every seed brings forth after its kind. It is time to speak differently. It is time to bless what you once buried, to honor what you once mocked, to declare life where you once rehearsed lack. Say this when you touch your wallet, your bank app, your receipts. I do not curse my supply. I declare it sacred. Money flows to me freely now, and I speak only life over it. This is not denial. This is divine instruction. You are not ignoring reality. You are reshaping it. And the reality that forms next will be the one that obeys your most dominant word. So guard your mouth. Guard your tongue. Let no false prophecy proceed from your lips. You are no longer the victim of money. You are the governor of it. And what you govern in spirit will obey you in form. Every time you pay a bill, every time you part with money, you are declaring what you believe about supply. Most people believe they are losing something when they pay. They believe they are being drained. But I tell you the truth. You are not spending money. You are circulating divine substance. And what you circulate with joy returns to you multiplied. Payment is not depletion. It is a spiritual transaction. It is proof that you trust the source of all good to refill what you have released. Never again speak fear over payment. Never again sigh when the rent is due. Never again groan when the bill arrives. These reactions are spells. They are anti-blessings. And the law, hearing your tone, responds not with increase but with echo, echoing the fear you just rehearsed. You must now handle your money as a priest handles the sacred cup, with reverence, with awareness, with spiritual rhythm. When you pay for anything, whisper this aloud, or in your heart if you must. I pay this in joy, and it returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not poetry. This is spiritual math. What you give in joy always returns with increase. What you release in fear delays return. What you part with in gratitude creates immediate pathways for more. Payment is proof of circulation, and circulation is the law of life. Stagnation is the illusion of loss. You were never meant to hoard, to clutch, to panic. You were meant to bless, to trust, to command flow. Say this when the bill arrives. This is not a burden. It is proof I am trusted with substance. I send it forth, and it shall return tenfold. Now your bills are no longer triggers. They are tests of trust. And when you speak truth into them, they transform from chains to channels. Your rent becomes a portal, your electricity a gateway, your tuition a divine investment. Bless your payments, bless your giving, bless your outgoing with the same power you bless your incoming, because it is all one flow, all one law, and that which you handle with joy shall return with power. Every visible blessing begins with an invisible word. There is no exception. Your riches do not begin in the bank. They do not begin in the check, the job, or the client. They begin in the sentence. They begin with what you say before they appear. Most people wait to speak abundance until they see it. But that is not law. That is reaction. Law is cause. And the cause of riches is always the spoken word in faith. I have seen it time and time again. A woman stood with nothing but belief. No money in sight, no offers, no open doors. But she spoke day and night. I see yellow bills, I see green bills, I see pink checks with divine abundance written in my name. She saw it, she felt it, she spoke it. Before a dollar had shown its face, she was speaking the truth that preceded it. And in time, because time is never the barrier of spirit, her mailbox began to agree. Yellow bills, green bills, pink checks. The very pattern she had declared appeared in form, not because she forced it, but because she had called it. Do not wait until you have proof to speak. Speak, and the proof will follow. Do not say, I'll believe it when I see it. That is the language of delay. Say instead, I'll see it because I have spoken it. For your world is but an echo of your most dominant decree. Scripture declares, God calleth those things which be not as though they were. Romans 4:17. This is the divine pattern, not describing the seen but commanding the unseen, not waiting for riches to appear, but creating them in word and walking in that word until it becomes form. Your sentence is your spiritual mold. When you speak riches in truth, your subconscious accepts the design. And then your outer world begins to match what your inner world has already shaped. So say it before it arrives. Say it while the purse feels empty. Say it while the account looks barren. Say it not to convince yourself, but to instruct law. And law, once instructed, begins to gather the necessary substance to fulfill your decree. Say this now. I see riches surrounding me. I walk in financial peace. Every day, in every way, my supply multiplies, visible and invisible. And speak it again tomorrow, and again the next day, until your inner world accepts it as fact, until your outer world can no longer resist. Because when the word becomes law in your soul, it must become matter in your hand. Do not jest with money. Do not mock your supply. Do not make yourself the punchline of poverty and expect wealth to honor you. This is a warning not from fear, but from divine clarity. Your subconscious has no sense of humor. It records every word you speak as instruction. It does not know when you are joking. It only knows vibration, tone, energy. It hears your laughter as law. It accepts your sarcasm as command. And then it constructs your experience in kind. I remember a woman who repeatedly said, "One day I'll be living in a trunk on the side of the road." She laughed when she said it. Others laughed with her. But her subconscious was not laughing. It was taking notes. It was preparing the trunk. It was arranging the condition. And soon enough, that was exactly where she found herself, living in a trunk on the side of the road. Not because she lacked ability, not because she lacked opportunity, but because she prophesied her own downfall. You must understand, there is no such thing as a neutral word. There are only constructive words and destructive ones, words that align with truth and words that align with fear. When you joke about being broke, your subconscious removes money to match. When you mock the rich, your mind makes sure you never become one. When you laugh at your own lack, you lengthen your season of scarcity. Stop using your tongue to entertain others at the expense of your own good. Words are not toys. They are tools. They are weapons. They are sacred instruments of law. Use them with reverence. Use them with awareness. Use them to create, not to collapse. If you have spoken foolishly about your finances, cancel it now. Speak this aloud. Every idle word I have spoken about money is now neutralized, reversed, and replaced by divine truth. Then replace the curse with blessing. Replace the sarcasm with structure. Replace the joke with justice. And speak only what you are ready to see appear. Say this instead. I speak only increase. I speak only favor. I speak only divine provision. Let your words become your wealth. Let your speech become your storehouse. Let no falsehood leave your lips, because every sentence is a seed, and what you sow, you must receive. If you would see wealth appear in your outer world, you must first see it and speak it in your inner one. This is the formula of manifestation. This is the divine architecture. First, the vision, then the vibration, then the visible. All things created first appear in imagination, then are sealed in word, then formed in reality. This is the rhythm of divine demonstration, and it cannot be bypassed. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be replaced by logic, labor, or luck. You must become the architect of your wealth. You must sit in the sanctuary of your spirit and build, not with bricks, but with words. Not with budgets, but with belief. You must see your riches before the world can. You must speak your abundance before the world confirms it. The law waits for a leader, and your leadership begins with image and word. The imagination is the womb. The spoken word is the seed. The demonstration is the birth. If you try to produce without seeing and saying, you will push in vain. But if you combine clear vision with sacred speech, the law will deliver. Let this become your daily ritual. Close your eyes and see your wealth. Not in fantasy, not in craving, but in truth. See the bills stacked in your drawer. See the payments complete. See the accounts overflowing. See the joy of giving. See the freedom of having. Do not wonder how. That is not your task. Your task is to form the blueprint, and the law will build it. Then speak what you see. Declare it aloud, even if your surroundings contradict it, even if the bank account mocks it, even if the world calls you delusional. Say it anyway, because what you speak in alignment must become form. Say, I see my wealth. I feel my abundance. I declare my supply. What I speak must now appear under grace and in perfect timing. And walk as one who has already received. Stop begging. Stop pleading. Start agreeing. Let your body move in rhythm with your decree. Stand tall. Speak clearly. Act with peace. Give with joy. Receive with gratitude. These are not performance, they are spiritual alignment. Your demonstration does not come by waiting. It comes by building. And building happens in silence, in speech, in the unseen. Then suddenly it appears, and the world calls it luck. But you know, it is law. So combine vision with vibration, combine image with declaration, and what you build inside will soon stand before you outside. Because when spirit hears both your sight and your sound, it delivers in full. There is a sacred window the world has forgotten, the moment before sleep and the moment of waking. These are the gates of the subconscious. These are the moments when your mind is most fertile, most receptive, most impressionable. And what you speak during these gates does not vanish. It roots itself deep in the soil of your being and governs what follows. So I say to you, bless your money at night and bless it in the morning, not as routine, not as superstition, but as law. Law works by repetition. Law responds to rhythm. You would not water a plant once and expect it to bloom. So do not speak your prosperity once and expect it to multiply. Speak it daily. Speak it at the doorposts of your day. Before you close your eyes at night, speak this sentence aloud. Let it be the last vibration your body remembers. I now draw from the abundance within and see wealth without. Every dollar I touch returns to me blessed and multiplied. Let this sentence travel with you into sleep. Let it echo through your subconscious chambers. Let your dream state be governed by truth, not fear. While you sleep, the seed will be watered. While you sleep, the subconscious will rearrange. While you sleep, spirit will move unseen channels into place. Then, when morning comes, do not touch your phone, your email, your news, until you have spoken the law again. Greet your supply. Greet the invisible abundance that now rushes toward you. Speak the sentence again with fresh breath and fresh expectation. I now draw from the abundance within and see wealth without. Every dollar I touch returns to me blessed and multiplied. Touch your wallet. Touch your purse. Touch your phone if it carries your digital accounts, and bless them, not out of duty, but out of dominion. Let them become symbols of spiritual obedience. Let them remind you that every object connected to your finances must now obey your vibration. Night and morning, the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega of your day. Let truth govern them both, and the middle shall fall in line. This is the double blessing. This is the daily rhythm of the spiritually prosperous, not occasional, not reactive, but rhythmic, bold, and faithful. What you speak in darkness appears in light. What you declare at rest shows up in motion. What you bless at sunrise returns by sundown. And so it is. There is one barrier more dangerous than doubt, more stubborn than fear, more hidden than lack. It is guilt. Guilt about wealth, guilt about wanting more, guilt about receiving while others lack. This is the invisible thief of abundance. For even when the law is spoken and the word is right, guilt in the heart will reject what the voice has commanded. You must cleanse yourself of every false belief that says you are unworthy of riches, that wanting money is selfish, that having more is wrong. These are not spiritual ideas. They are human interpretations of fear, wrapped in morality and shame. But the truth is this: your wealth serves God when you receive it in righteousness. The law is not offended by your overflow. The Spirit is not jealous of your storehouse. The infinite is not limited by your portion. There is no scarcity in divine mind. When you receive, you do not take from others. You simply align faster. You become an example of law in action, a testimony that truth does not fail. I have said before, and I say it again, nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last. These words must replace the guilt in your gut. These truths must override the inherited shame of generations. If you feel guilt when receiving, speak this: "It is right for me to prosper. I use money in love, and money flows to me in peace." And if the voice of shame whispers, "Who are you to have more?" answer with law: "I am a child of the Most High. I inherit all good. I release guilt and walk in grace." You cannot speak multiplication while holding on to guilt. You cannot bless your money and then hate yourself for having it. These are contradictions that collapse demonstration. But when you release guilt, you release restriction. When you accept that your wealth blesses others, you open wider channels. Say it with me now: "My wealth is a blessing to all. I release guilt. I walk in truth. I receive with ease, and I give with joy." Let this become your new truth. Let it soak into your bones. Let it echo louder than the old voices. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to shrink. You are here to demonstrate what is possible when guilt dies and law reigns. And from this new place, abundance comes freely. The law never fails. It is not partial. It is not delayed by distance, by economy, or by opinion. It does not consider how long you've struggled or how many times you've cried. It responds to the spoken word of truth, declared in rhythm, backed by faith, and sealed with silence. When you speak rightly and do not contradict your word, the law goes to work. I once knew a woman in great need. She was out of work. Rent was due. Fear swirled around her like a storm. But she had learned the law, and she did not beg. She did not panic. She closed her eyes, touched her empty wallet, and spoke this sentence aloud: "God is my immediate and inexhaustible supply. Unexpected channels open to me now." She said it once, and again, and again. Not frantically, but faithfully. Then she went about her day. Hours later, she walked past a bush and felt drawn to look beneath it. There, tucked under leaves, was an envelope with her name on it. Inside, the exact amount she needed, enough to pay her rent in full and buy food for the week. Some would call that coincidence. I call it demonstration. Because this same rhythm has happened to thousands. The moment they stop begging and start declaring, the law begins to shape new channels. The moment they stop rehearsing fear and start speaking supply, the invisible becomes visible. You may say, "But that hasn't happened for me." Then I ask you, have you spoken in faith or in fear? Have you declared with authority or have you hoped with doubt? The law hears certainty, not emotion, not noise, certainty. Speak now. The law never fails. I declare my supply, and it must appear, under grace and in perfect ways. Let this become your daily conviction. Do not wonder how. Do not watch the clock. Simply speak and walk and trust. Because when the word is spoken in rhythm with truth, the form must follow. The law never forgets your decree. It never misplaces your request. It always fulfills your spoken pattern. So pattern your words in faith, and the results will be undeniable. There is no chaos in spirit. There is no confusion in divine mind. Only man disorganizes what God has already made whole. If your finances feel tangled, heavy, delayed, or unclear, it is not because God has withheld your good. It is because your vibration has not yet aligned with divine order. You have spoken inconsistently. You have feared while paying. You have blessed in one breath and complained in the next. And law, which must reflect your rhythm, has mirrored your disorder. But the moment you bring your words, your feelings, and your decisions into harmony, you activate divine order in your finances. Order is not about budgeting. It is not about paperwork. It is not about being perfect. It is about spiritual alignment. It is about inner clarity that manifests as outer peace. And divine order begins with your decree. Speak this daily. Every dollar in my world is aligned, assigned, and multiplying under grace. Let that be the spiritual architecture of your money, aligned with truth, assigned to good, and multiplying with ease. No more rogue spending driven by fear. No more hiding from bills. No more disowning your wealth. You are the governor of your financial reality. And governors do not guess, they command. This is your spiritual instruction. Tithe in faith, not in fear. Give with joy, not with guilt. Save in wisdom, not in worry. Spend in peace, not in panic. Let every action with money be a testimony of trust. Money is not your master, it is your tool. It is the servant of your spoken decree. So use it with reverence. Use it with rhythm, and speak into every financial decision this law. I do not manage money by might. I govern it by divine order, and what is governed by law cannot fail. Let your inner world reflect the peace of knowing your supply is steady, your seed is blessed, and your return is multiplying even now. When order reigns inside, chaos must bow outside. You are not becoming prosperous. You are now aligned with the truth that you already are. Walk in that knowing, act in that rhythm, and watch your money rise to meet the vibration of your word. Now you know, and once you know, you cannot return to the old vibration. You cannot unknow law, you cannot unspeak truth. The power has always been yours, but now it is conscious, now it is awakened. And I charge you, child of God, not to walk forward in fear, but to walk forward in financial dominion. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for you, waiting for your voice, waiting for your consistency, waiting for your blessing. You have been given the keys to increase, the sentence of multiplication, the law of spoken truth, the act of sacred circulation, the rhythm of night and morning declaration. These are not theories. These are not ideas. They are tools of demonstration. Use them. Touch your money and speak. Pay your bills and bless. See lack and declare abundance. Feel doubt and override it with rhythm. Let no financial moment pass without awareness. Let no coin slip through your fingers without praise. Let no transaction escape your vibration. And now, for your final charge, say this aloud with boldness. Money now comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. I walk in plenty. I speak in plenty. I live in the law of increase. My supply is sure. My word is law, and my wealth is unfolding even now. Again. My supply is sure. My word is law, and my wealth is unfolding even now. Say it until the rhythm writes itself into your body, until the mind submits, until the outer world must obey. You are not beneath money. You are not afraid of it. You are not confused by it. You now handle it as a priest handles the sacred, with truth, with power, with joy. Speak this every time you touch money, and watch what follows, because spirit is listening, law is moving, and your word, once spoken in faith, cannot return void. And so it is.
Beloved, you are not waiting for proof that divine law works. You are the proof. You are the living evidence that unseen forces are always at work, weaving perfection through every detail of your life. Every breath you take, every heartbeat that moves through you, every answered prayer that seemed to arrive just in time. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. They are the universe whispering, "See, my child, the law works, always perfectly, unshakably." Say softly, "I am the evidence that divine law works. Every part of my life is divine order made visible. I live in the proof of God's perfect timing." The world may tell you that proof comes after results. But in divine law, proof begins with belief. You do not wait to see before you believe. You believe, and then you see. Faith is the blueprint, life is the reflection. When your mind holds truth, and your heart holds peace, your world aligns accordingly. You have already experienced this, even if you did not know it. The moment you worried, and your worry created delay, that was the law at work. The moment you trusted, and doors opened effortlessly, that too was the law at work. It does not sleep, it does not pause, it simply mirrors the vibration you carry. Say softly, "The law of the universe never fails me. It responds to my faith with abundance. It responds to my peace with miracles. Divine law is not a mystery. It is precision. Just as gravity does not decide whom to serve, divine law does not decide whom to bless. It works through every person, every word, every feeling. When you think in harmony, you receive harmony. When you speak with faith, you attract faith's fulfillment. When you bless your life blesses you back. You are not an exception to the law. You are the expression of it. You are divine intelligence clothed in human form, learning to use the creative power that has always belonged to you. When you speak, creation listens. When you believe, energy aligns. When you act in faith, heaven confirms it. Say softly, divine law expresses through me effortlessly. My faith activates the unseen. My peace is the proof that the law is working. Beloved, most people search for evidence outside themselves. They look for signs in the sky, numbers on the clock, sudden miracles that prove they are blessed. But the highest proof is you. You woke up this morning. You have survived storms you thought would break you. You have received help at the exact moment you needed it. That is not luck. That is law in motion. The law of divine compensation, the law of circulation, the law of faith. They are always present, always responding. The question is never, is the law working? The question is, am I working with it or against it? Say softly, I work in harmony with divine law. I trust its perfection. I rest in its timing. The truth is, divine law does not fail. People simply forget their power within it. They speak words of lack and wonder why they see shortage. They think thoughts of fear and ask why peace seems distant. But every moment, the law is proving itself through their experience. Beloved, awareness is mastery. When you remember that every emotion is a command, every thought is a creation, and every word is a seed, you stop living by reaction and start living by revelation. You move from confusion to clarity, from struggle to flow. Say softly, my awareness is my evidence. My calm is my confirmation. My joy is my testimony. The greatest demonstration of divine law is not sudden wealth or instant healing. It is the quiet transformation within you. When your heart softens instead of hardens, when your spirit chooses peace over panic, when you walk in trust instead of tension, that is divine law rewriting your life from the inside out. And soon, the outer world catches up. Situations shift, doors open, people change. Not because you begged for it, but because you became it. Say softly, I am the living reflection of divine order. Everything in my life unfolds through perfect law. The universe confirms my faith daily. Beloved, remember this eternal truth. You are not separate from divine law. You are its manifestation. You are its proof, its evidence, its living success story. And every time you choose love instead of fear, every time you bless instead of complain, every time you believe instead of doubt, you strengthen the bridge between heaven and earth. Say softly, one final decree for this section. I am the evidence that divine law works. I walk as peace. I speak as faith. I live as proof. Everything in my world bears witness that God's law is perfect, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, divine law never stops. It never sleeps. It never waits for your permission to work, because it is the rhythm of creation itself. From the rising of the sun to the beating of your heart, from the orbit of planets to the flow of breath, everything is governed by law. And that same law moves through your life, responding to your words, mirroring your faith, reflecting your vibration, whether you are aware of it or not. Say softly, divine law works perfectly through me. Even when I forget, it remembers. Even when I doubt, it holds me. Just as gravity does not turn off when you sleep, divine law does not turn off when you fear. It continues, patiently translating your inner world into outer results. It takes the tone of your thoughts and sculpts it into circumstance. It takes the shape of your emotion and paints it across your reality. You cannot escape it, beloved, because you are part of it. You are made of the same divine substance that moves galaxies. You are not separate from law. You are its living expression. Say softly, I am one with the divine order of life. I am never outside the flow of creation. I live within the perfection of divine law. The moment you speak a word, the law begins to arrange matter around that word. When you say, I can't. When you say, I can, the law obeys. When you say, it's hard, it shows you hardness. When you say, it's easy, it softens the path. Because divine law does not judge, it simply responds. Say softly, the law responds to my faith. The law multiplies my peace. The law manifests my belief. Many souls wonder why their prayers seem unanswered, but the truth is, no prayer is ever unheard. Every thought, every feeling, every affirmation is a seed planted in spiritual soil. And like all seeds, it grows according to its nature. A seed of fear produces more fear. A seed of joy produces joy. A seed of faith produces miracles. Beloved, the harvest always matches the seed. Not because the law is unfair, but because the law is precise. It cannot give you what you do not vibrate. It cannot deliver abundance through the voice of worry. It cannot bring harmony while your words create resistance. Say softly, I plant only thoughts of love. I water them with faith. I harvest miracles in divine timing. Divine law is not personal, it is universal. It doesn't favor one person over another. It favors faith. It doesn't measure worthiness. It measures vibration. And what you believe yourself to be, you must inevitably see. Beloved, this is the sacred beauty of it all. You are never at the mercy of chance. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are always working with a law that listens, reflects, and fulfills. Say softly, the law and I are one. I speak and it answers. I believe, and it becomes. Even when things seem uncertain, even when your prayers appear delayed, the law is still active. Aligning details, rearranging energy. Moving through unseen corridors to bring you what is right, not rushed. You may not always see it, but you are always living inside it. Your entire existence is divine law in motion, the manifestation of thought and vibration turning into experience. Say softly, everything in my life unfolds through perfect law. Even what I don't understand is working for my good. Beloved, the law is impartial but deeply loving. It simply mirrors what continually impress upon it. That means your greatest power lies in awareness. Once you become conscious of how it operates, you can begin to use it intentionally, not to fight life, but to flow with it. When you understand the law, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start declaring, what is this teaching me to align with? Say softly, I align with divine cause. I think with divine mind. I live under divine law. You can't turn the law off, but you can rise above its lower expressions. For instance, the law of fear attracts fear, but the law of faith overrides it. The law of complaint creates more to complain about, but the law of gratitude cancels it instantly. You don't destroy law. Just as an airplane does not destroy gravity, it uses a higher law of lift. So it is with the soul. You rise above lack through generosity, above fear through love, above chaos through calm. Say softly, I rise above limitation by living in faith. I use higher laws of love and gratitude. I soar in divine alignment. Beloved, this is the mastery Florence taught. You are never helpless because you are never lawless. Every moment you breathe, the law listens. Every emotion you release, the law registers. Every word you speak, the law begins to build upon. That is why awareness is your greatest wealth. When you know the law, you stop repeating old patterns unconsciously. You become the author, not the actor, the director, not the bystander. You begin to use life as it was meant to be used, as a mirror of your divine authority. Say softly, I am awake to divine law. I am aware of my creative power. I am responsible for the energy I release. Even those who do not know this truth still live within it. That is why it is said, ignorance of the law is no excuse. It continues to operate through them, only now unconsciously. But the awakened soul knows, if my outer life displeases me, I need only change the inner cause. So you no longer blame people or fate. You bless them, release them, and shift your vibration. Because everything that happens is simply law showing you your frequency. And the moment you elevate that frequency, your entire world must follow. Say softly, my vibration is my command, my peace is my protection. My alignment is my evidence. Beloved, divine law is your most loyal companion. It does not abandon. It does not falter. It does not forget. It works through you, for you, and as you. And when you begin to trust that, you live in peace even before the manifestation arrives. Because you know, the law never misses. It never fails. It only fulfills. Say softly, one final decree. The law is working now. The law is always working. I am the living proof of its perfection. I am the evidence that divine law never fails, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is, beloved. There is a moment in every soul's journey when prayer must evolve. When asking turns into knowing. When hoping turns into having. When waiting turns into being. The universe does not respond to pleading. It responds to certainty. It does not answer the cry of desperation. It answers the calm vibration of faith. When you know, you no longer chase. When you know, you no longer question. When you know, the law moves instantly. Because belief is its language. Say softly, I no longer ask in fear. I know in faith, it is already done. Every time you say, I hope this works, you are telling the universe that you doubt it will. Every time you say, please make this happen, you are telling divine law that it is not yet so. But when you say, thank you, it's already mine, you speak the vibration of completion, and heaven rushes to confirm your decree. Faith begins where asking ends. The moment you stop reaching outward and start believing inward, the universe says, now you are ready. Say softly, I no longer chase what is mine. I stand still in faith and receive. Beloved, asking is a stage of awakening, but knowing is mastery. The child asks for what they want. The mature soul declares what already is. The child looks for proof. The master becomes the proof. And you, beloved, are called now to be the master. Divine law has never required begging, only belief. It does not need long prayers, only clear ones. It does not need emotional pleading, only inner peace. Because in divine law, everything belongs to you is already stored in spirit, waiting for your vibration to match it. Say softly, my desires already exist in the invisible. They are now appearing through divine order. I believe, therefore I receive. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn called faith a spiritual substance. It is not empty hope. It is invisible matter. Faith is energy concentrated so cleanly that it becomes form. When you know, you magnetize that invisible energy into your experience. But when you ask in fear, you push it away. It's like telling the universe, I don't have it, and I might never get it. And the universe, being precise and obedient, mirrors that back. Beloved, stop confirming lack with your words. Stop asking for what you already have. Instead, declare, it is done. It is finished. It is fulfilled in divine order. The moment you speak those words with conviction, you align your consciousness with divine completion. And all things begin to move toward that fulfillment. When you know that divine law works, you no longer need to check on it. You no longer ask, when will it come? You simply prepare for its arrival. You behave as if it's already yours, because spiritually, it is. Say softly, I live in the vibration of having. I think from completion, not from need. Everything I desire is already in motion. A beloved, this is the greatest secret of manifestation. You do not manifest by wanting. You manifest by being. You must become the vibration of your desire. You must act as if the prayer is already answered. And you must speak as if the universe already heard you. Because it did. When you think and feel from the end, you call that end into the present. You create a bridge between the unseen and the seen, and your knowing becomes the magnet that draws it near. Say softly, I think from the end. I feel the completion that is done. The soul that knows does not rush. The soul that knows does not worry. The soul that knows simply aligns, breathes, and gives thanks. Because peace is the proof of knowing. When you are calm, it means the law has already begun its work. You cannot see the roots growing underground, but they are growing still. You cannot see the miracle forming in the unseen, but it is forming now. Say softly, though I do not see it yet, I know it is near. The law works beyond my sight, but never beyond my faith. Beloved, knowing does not mean controlling. It means trusting the intelligence behind the process. You are not the manufacturer of miracles. You are the witness of them. Divine law performs, your job is to believe. Faith opens the gate, doubt locks it. When you pray, don't speak from lack, speak from completion. Say not, God, please give me, but thank you, God, that it is already done. That one shift, from pleading to praising, turns vibration into manifestation. Say softly, I thank before I receive. I celebrate before it appears. I know and therefore it must be. Beloved, knowing is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is recognizing that you are one with the creative force that governs all. You are not demanding from the universe. You are agreeing with it. You are saying, yes, I accept what already belongs to me. This is how miracles move quickly. Through calm acceptance, not loud insistence. When you stand in your spiritual authority, the law bows to your vibration. Say softly, I no longer ask as one unworthy. I declare as one divine. I am one with the source of all good. The difference between asking and knowing is the difference between delay and flow. When you ask, you imply it's missing. When you know, you confirm it's here. And divine law always matches your confirmation. You have asked enough. Now you must declare. You have wished enough. Now, you must witness. Say softly, I am the witness of divine fulfillment. I am the evidence that the law answers every call. It is done. It is finished. It is complete. Beloved, this is how miracles become natural. Not through begging, but through being. Not through trying, but through trusting. Not through worry, but through worship. Worship the truth that divine law is perfect and cannot fail. Say softly, one final decree for this section. I no longer live in asking. I live in knowing. What is nigh is already done. What I desire is already given. What I affirm becomes visible, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, life is not a problem to be solved. It is a mirror to be understood. Every experience you have ever faced, every person who has crossed your path, every moment that has repeated again and again, all of it is the universe showing you you. What you see is not what is there. It is who you are. The outer world is the reflection of your inner atmosphere. When your heart is at peace, your world glows with harmony. When your mind is fearful, your reality trembles in confusion. The mirror of life does not judge, it simply reflects. Say softly, my world reflects my faith. My life mirrors my belief. I only see what I am ready to see. You can change your mirror only by changing your reflection. No one wipes a mirror at the face. They change the face itself. Yet so many souls polish the outer glass. They fix, they chase, they control, not realizing that the cause always within. If your relationships are cold, ask not who stopped loving you. Ask where you stopped loving yourself. If money feels scarce, ask not where it is hiding. Ask whether you have declared yourself worthy of it. If peace feels distant, ask not what the world has done. Ask what thoughts you have fed your spirit. Say softly, As within, so without. As I believe, so I experience. As I love, so I receive. Beloved, this is the law of reflection, the silent sculptor of every human life. The mirror does not lie. It cannot lie. It is pure divine law in motion, showing you your vibration in living color. Every time you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," the mirror echoes, "So be it." Every time you say, "Everything flows easily," the mirror replies, "And so it shall." You are the cause, your world is the effect. You are the painter, life is your canvas. You are the musician, creation is your instrument. Say softly, I take full ownership of my vibration. I create from harmony, not habit. I am the cause of my peace. Most people live as reflections of others, reacting to what they see. But the awakened soul reverses the current. Instead of reacting to life, they radiate to life. They send out love where there is bitterness. They send out forgive if there is pain. They send out abundance where there is fear. And the mirror, loyal and faithful, must return that new image. Beloved, you are never a victim of reflection, you are the artist of it. You can repaint your world with every new thought, every new word, every new emotion. Each shift within ripples through the mirror instantly. It may take a moment for the outer form to rearrange, but once the vibration changes, the picture must follow. Say softly, my inner world creates my outer reality. When I shift, my world shifts. When I rise, my life rises. This is why judging others never serves you. Because you are looking into yourself. When you see lack in another, you activate lack within. When you bless another, you multiply blessing for both. The mirror works both ways. Whatever you project must return, magnified, clarified, sanctified. Say softly, I see only the divine in others. I bless every reflection of myself. I release all judgment and live in love. Beloved, when you understand that reality is a mirror, you no longer take things personally. You no longer fight against life. You listen to it. If conflict appears, it means something within you seeks peace. If delay appears, it means something within you still doubts divine timing. If abundance flows easily, it means your vibration matches divine generosity. The mirror is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. Say softly, I listen to life as my spiritual teacher. Every reflection is revelation. Every challenge is correction. You see, the law of reflection is not punishment. It is mercy. It gives you the chance to see yourself and choose again. Every repeated situation is grace in disguise, saying, will you now choose differently? And the moment you do, the picture changes. The soul that understands this no longer fears external things. They stop saying, I'll be happy when this changes, and start saying, this will change because I am happy now. That is the voice of power, the sound of creation in human form. Say softly, nothing external controls me. I am the vibration behind every visible thing. My peace directs my life. Beloved, look at your world with spiritual eyes. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Say, what belief is this showing me? That one shift transforms the mirror into a map, a sacred guide showing you where your soul needs alignment. Once you find the belief, you can police it and replace it with truth. When you believe, I am unloved. The mirror shows rejection. Replace it with, I am love itself. When you mirror changes to affection. When you believe, I am poor, the mirror shows struggle. Replace it with, I am the source of my abundance, and prosperity begins to flow. Say softly, I rewrite my beliefs with divine truth. I see abundance. I feel abundance. I live abundance. The mirror reflects my faith. Beloved, do not fear the reflection, use it. When you see darkness, bring light. When you see chaos, bring gratitude. And soon the mirror will not only reflect you, it will magnify you. Remember, every time you rise in consciousness, your reflection brightens. You no longer live from reaction, you live from revelation. You no longer fight the image, you become the artist behind it. Say softly, I am not my reflection. I am the light that creates it. I am not my past. I am the truth that transcends it. I am divine awareness shaping divine. For and beloved, when you finally see your world shine with peace, you will realize that nothing outside ever needed fixing. It was always an inner adjustment. A shift from fear to faith, from complaint to gratitude, from doubt to knowing. Say softly, one final decree for this section. My life is the mirror of my consciousness. I choose love, and love reflects back. I choose peace, and peace surrounds me. I am the evidence that divine law reflects perfection, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, gratitude is not the result of manifestation. It is the cause. Gratitude is not the celebration after receiving. It is the vibration that brings receiving forth. To give thanks before the harvest is faith. To give thanks before the door opens is mastery. And to live in gratitude always is to live in divine proof. Say softly, I give thanks before I see. I celebrate before I receive. My gratitude is my proof that the law is working. Every time you say, thank you, you align with divine intelligence. Every time you appreciate what you have, you multiply it. Every time you bless what seems small, you open the gate for something greater. Because gratitude is not emotion, it is energy. It is the purest frequency of completion. When you are grateful, you declare to the universe, it is already done. You speak the language of divine fulfillment. You are saying, I trust the process. I trust the timing. I trust the law. Say softly, I am grateful for what I see and what I do not see yet. I am thankful for answered prayers still unfolding. Gratitude opens every door for me. Beloved, gratitude is the atmosphere of miracles. No soul can remain in complaint and expect divine results. For the law responds not to your words, but to your vibration. If you speak thanks but feel worry, your words are hollow. But if you whisper thanks with peace in your heart, even before the manifestation arrives, the heavens themselves begin to move in your favor. When you say, thank you for the abundance I have not seen yet, you step into the unseen, where the real creation happens. You shift from the physical to the spiritual, from effort to ease, from waiting to receiving. Say softly, I give thanks now, for everything now. Gratitude is my bridge from the invisible to the visible. I live in the vibration of completion. Gratitude turns delay into divine timing. It turns challenge into teaching. It turns loss into blessing. For what you bless, you heal. And what you curse, you multiply in pain. Bless it all, beloved. The confusion, the waiting, the breakthrough, the lesson. Every part of it has been working for you. Say softly, I bless my past for shaping me. I bless my present for sustaining me. I bless my future for fulfilling me. You see, gratitude and faith are twins. They walk hand in hand. Faith says, it is done. Gratitude says, thank you that it's done. Together, they activate the entire universe. They speak the only language the law understands: assurance. When you are grateful, Fear loses its grip, worry fades, and peace takes its rightful place. Because you cannot be thankful and fearful at the same time. One cancels the other. Gratitude is the antidote to fear, the medicine for doubt, and the key that unlocks every door of delay. Say softly, gratitude dissolves all resistance. My thanks creates instant alignment. I receive because I am grateful. Beloved, look around you. Even now, the evidence of grace surrounds you. The air you breathe, the roof that covers you, the strength that still carries you. Each is a miracle you once prayed for. Gratitude reminds you that you are already living an answered prayer. When you give thanks for what you have, you prepare for what is next. When you celebrate the small, you qualify for the great. For the universe never expands in the presence of complaint, but it multiplies infinitely the presence of gratitude. Say softly, thank you for what I have. Thank you for what is coming. Thank you for what has passed. All of it serves my divine good. Beloved, gratitude is faith made visible. It is how the soul confirms to heaven, I trust you completely. You cannot fake gratitude. It must rise from knowing. When you truly believe that divine law never fails, you cannot help but feel grateful, even for the process itself. Even the unanswered prayers carry grace. Even the detours lead to destiny. Even the pauses are divine preparation. Gratitude sees beyond the moment and declares, this too is love. This too is working for me. Say softly, I am thankful in every season. Even in silence, I hear the blessings forming. Even in stillness, I feel abundance growing. When you live in this vibration, you move from proving to flowing, from chasing to attracting. Gratitude becomes your silent signal to the universe. A frequency that says, said more like this. And the law, ever faithful, answers, yes, and even more shall be added. Beloved, gratitude does not wait for the ending. It honors the beginning. It praises before the performance. It celebrates before the arrival. It thanks God in the hallway, not just when the door opens. That is divine maturity. Say softly, I am grateful while I wait. I am grateful while it forms. I am grateful because it is already done in spirit. A gratitude transforms your aura into a magnet. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. Abundance recognizes it. Your energy says, I am complete. And completion always attracts completion. The soul that is grateful lacks nothing, because gratitude is wealth. Gratitude is abundance. Gratitude is divine proof. Say softly, my gratitude is my greatest wealth. I am rich in peace, rich in love, rich in divine timing. Everything I bless multiplies before my eyes. Beloved, let gratitude become your constant prayer. Let it flow through your thoughts before you speak. Let it rise from your heart before you act. Let it fill your home, your relationships, your work, your rest. Because where gratitude lives, grace abides. Say softly, one final decree for this section, gratitude is my frequency. Gratitude is my faith. Gratitude is my proof. All that is mine is already given, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, the highest form of faith is not in words, it is in embodiment. To live as the proof of divine law means to walk through each day as though heaven is already within you. It means to wake up with quiet confidence, to meet challenges with calm assurance, to speak truth softly yet with power. When you embody divine law, you no longer need to convince anyone. Your peace speaks for you. Your calm becomes your evidence. Your joy becomes your testimony. Your life becomes a sermon without words. Say softly, I am the living proof of divine law. My peace proves that God is present. My success proves that faith never fails. Beloved, embodiment means harmony between thought, word, and action. It means your thoughts align with your faith, your words align with your truth, and your actions align with divine timing. When these three are one, nothing can fall apart. because you are anchored in law. The outer world bends to the inner vibration. So when you live from divine alignment, everything around you begins to take shape in order, precision, and grace. Say softly, my inner world is calm, therefore my outer world flows. My thoughts are rooted in truth, therefore my results are divine. To live as the proof means to embody the qualities of the divine itself: stillness, faith, gratitude, forgiveness, generosity, and joy. Each moment you choose these, you are writing proof into your life. Every act of kindness is proof that love rules your world. Every calm reaction is proof that you live above fear. Every generous decision is proof that abundance flows through you. Beloved, divine law does not ask for perfection. It asks for practice. Each thought, each word, each response is a sacred opportunity to demonstrate what you believe. You cannot say, I live in divine order, and then rush in panic. You cannot say, I am divinely provided for, and then speak of lack. You cannot say, I trust the process, and then fight against its timing. The proof is not in what you say once. It is in what you choose daily. Say softly, I am consistent in faith. I walk my talk. My energy matches my declarations. Beloved, when you truly embody divine law, you do not worry about appearances. You trust essence. You do not compete. You create. You do not fear delay. You honor preparation. You know that divine intelligence is already arranging the details. You know that every situation carries hidden perfection. Living as the proof means you bless life, even when it does not go as planned. It means you trust that every detour is still the right road. It means you meet obstacles not as enemies, but as teachers. Say softly, everything in my life is working in divine harmony. Even when I do not understand, I trust completely. I am the walking rhythm of divine timing. Beloved, imagine what your life feels like when you stop reacting to circumstances and start responding from truth. When your peace remains steady, regardless of the storm. When your love remains unshaken, regardless of rejection. When your joy remains radiant, regardless of appearance. That is the proof, unshakable serenity that comes from knowing the law never fails. Say softly, my peace cannot be disturbed. My faith cannot be shaken. My joy cannot be stolen. I am grounded in divine law. You are not here to explain divine law. You are here to express it. You are not here to preach about abundance. You are here to live it so fully that others feel it in your presence. Your energy teaches louder than your words. Your calm heals deeper than your vice. Your vibration is your testimony. Say softly, I embody abundance. I radiate peace. I express divine truth through everything I do. Beloved, every choice you make becomes a declaration of faith. When you pay your bilitude instead of resentment, you prove prosperity. When you give freely without fear, you prove infinite supply. When you forgive quickly, you prove divine love. And when you walk with ease through uncertainty, you prove divine timing. This is what it means to live as the law in action. Not to talk of miracles, but to become one. Not to wait for peace, but to carry it. Not to seek light, but to shine it. Say softly, I am the miracle I once waited for. I am the peace I used to seek. I am the light I prayed would come. The moment you live in alignment, you move from seeking evidence to being evidence. Your aura shifts. People feel your calm before you speak. Opportunities flow toward you without effort. The law recognizes itself within you and multiplies your good. And in that vibration, you no longer force, you no longer chase, you no longer question, you simply allow. Because you know, the proof is already living through you. Say softly, I am divine flow in motion. Everything I touch prospers. Everything I release returns multiplied. Beloved, when you live as the proof, you bless in silence, love without limits, and trust without hesitation. You stop asking, "When will it happen?" and begin saying, "It is happening now." You stop needing validation because truth is self-evident, and your entire being radiates certainty, the serene, powerful certainty that divine law has never failed and never will. Say softly, "I am living proof that divine law is real. I am peace in motion. I am prosperity walking. I am faith embodied." Beloved, this is your sacred task: to live what you know, to demonstrate what you teach, to walk in divine alignment so fully that your presence becomes evidence of grace. Say softly, one final decree for this section: I live as proof of divine law. My peace is evidence. My joy is confirmation. My abundance is testimony. Every breath I take declares the law works, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, there comes a sacred moment on every spiritual path, a still point where words end and knowing begins. It is the moment when you no longer seek signs, no longer question the process, no longer ask, "Is the law working for me?" Because you have become the living testimony that it is. You are no longer a student of faith. You are its expression. You are no longer chasing manifestation. You are manifesting by simply existing. You are no longer proving the law. You are the proof. Say softly, "I am the testimony of spirit in form. I am the visible evidence of invisible truth. I am divine law fulfilled." The spirit within you has been whispering this truth since the beginning, that you were never separate from abundance, never apart from love, never lacking anything. The universe has always been complete. You were only learning to see it. Every lesson, every delay, every detour was preparation, the sculpting of your consciousness, until you could hold this realization that divine law was never outside you. It was within you, waiting to be recognized. Say softly, "I no longer seek what I already am. I no longer chase what I already hold. I no longer doubt what is already done." Beloved, the Spirit testifies not in thunder or in spectacle, but in peace. The testimony of Spirit is silence, the kind of silence that vibrates with certainty. It is the quiet joy of knowing that all is well, that nothing is missing, that everything is unfolding under grace and in perfect timing. This is the peace that passes understanding. It is not learned, it is remembered. It is not achieved, it is revealed. It is the soul returning to its original awareness. I and the Father are one. I and divine law are one. I and abundance are one. Say softly, "I rest in divine union. I am whole, complete, and provided for. I am already what I desire to become." Beloved, this realization changes everything. When the Spirit within you testifies of truth, you stop measuring your worth by outcomes. You stop fearing loss, because you know nothing real can be taken. You stop envying others, because you know every soul is on their divine timeline. You stop rushing, because you finally trust divine timing. This is mastery: to live without anxiety, to without fear, to move without force, and to receive without guilt. Say softly, "I live in the peace of knowing. I live in the rest of divine order. Everything that belongs to me finds me with ease." The Spirit does not need proof of prosperity, it is prosperity. It does not need validation of power, it is power. It does not strive to manifest, it simply allows what is already true to become visible. Beloved, when you walk in this awareness, you no longer depend on results to confirm your faith. Your faith becomes the result. You no longer wait for evidence, and every corner of your life begins to shine with quiet grace. Say softly, "I am proof that faith fulfills itself. I am proof that love provides. I am proof that divine law always keeps its promise." Now you begin to see that all along, nothing was random, not a single moment. Even the unanswered prayers were answered differently. Even the waiting was divine choreography. Even the heartbreak was holy instruction. The Spirit testifies that everything served your awakening. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Say softly, everything in my story was sacred. Every lesson was love in disguise. Every ending was a doorway to grace. Beloved, this is the final realization. You were never trying to make divine law work. You were learning to remember that it already does. You were never asking for abundance. You were remembering that abundance is your nature. You were never searching for God. You were remembering that God was expressing through you. This is why peace feels like coming home. Because it is home. When you return to faith, you return to yourself. When you live as peace, you live as proof. Say softly, I am home in the law. I am safe in divine order. I am whole in spirit. Beloved, imagine for a moment your life now shining with this awareness. Every morning you rise with gratitude instead of worry. Every evening you rest in peace instead of pressure. You no longer live from reaction. You live from revelation. You no longer wonder what will happen. You trust that it is already happening through grace. This is the testimony of spirit, a life that radiates calm power, that loves without measure, that walks in abundance without effort, that blesses without fear. Say softly, my life is my testimony. My peace is my proof. My joy is my ministry. My abundance is my evidence. Beloved, let this realization settle into your heart. You are not learning how to manifest. You are remembering that you were born manifesting. Every word, every thought, every emotion has always shaped reality. Now, you do it consciously, lovingly, under grace and in perfect timing. You are not hoping to see miracles. You are the miracle through which miracles appear. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation that divine law is alive and active. Say softly, with reverence and power, I am the testimony of divine law. I am the evidence that faith creates form. I am the living truth that spirit never fails. Beloved, let this be your final knowing. You do not need to prove divine law. You only need to live it, and life will prove it through you. Every step you take, every word you speak, every breath you breathe will testify the law works, always, effortlessly, eternally. Say softly, one last decree to seal this journey. I am the evidence that divine law works. I am the peace that confirms it. I am the abundance that reveals it. I am the light through which it shines, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is, and it was always so.